can see. Fly with me, fly with me. Come on, baby, set me free. You say that you know the truth. Inside of me, inside you. Always got something to prove. Don't know what it needs to lose. What would you do? Oh, look at the light in your eyes. Beneath the web of the skies. Baby, keep holding on tight. We'll win the fight. Oh.
Never get enough, we could have it all. Gonna take a chance, we can never fall. Yeah, I feel so strong, unstoppable. Just hold on tight, gotta let it roll. Don't stop this feeling, let's take it too far. Live for these moments, let's reach for the stars. A million to one. Invincible, invincible. So wild and so young. 'Cause you and me. A million to one. Invincible, invincible. So wild and so young. 'Cause we are invincible. Yeah, we are
for a place to hide. It seems we're crossing a line. My love for you is making me blind. But I want you, oh I want you. I think we're out of control. It feels like I'm losing ground. I know we had it all. Now I'm chasing, oh I'm chasing. No, I ain't going too far. I will love you wherever you are. Even if we're miles apart, you are the light in my dark. Control. It feels like I'm losing ground. I know we had it all. Now I'm chasing, oh I'm chasing. We both know that our path is ended. It's time to say goodbye. Even if you're far away, we should give it another try. No, I ain't going too far. I will love you wherever you are. Even if we're miles apart, you are the light in my dark. You are the light in my dark.
Hello mọi người, mình là Matt, với vai trò vị trí đi rừng của CERBERUS.
Xin chào, mình là BMM, người chơi vị trí đường mid của CERBERUS.
Xin chào các bạn, mình là Fly, mình là support của CERBERUS.
Xin chào mọi người, mình tên thật là Trần Ngọc Phúc, mình là xạ thủ của CERBERUS Esports.
Xin chào mọi người, mình là Hiếu Bon, hiện tại đang thi đấu cho CERBERUS đường vị trí Baron.
Xin chào tất cả các bạn, mình là Taco và hiện tại mình đang đi đường giữa cho CERBERUS.
Xin chào tất cả mọi người, mình là Eli Đỗ Thành Đạt, mình là người đi ADC cho team Flash.
Xin chào các bạn khán giả, mình là Jisoo đến từ team Flash.
Xin chào mọi người, mình là Coyote, người chơi đường giữa đến từ team Flash tốc chiến, đại diện cho khu vực Việt Nam.
Ba từ mình miêu tả về team rất là đẹp trai, đẹp trai, đẹp trai.
Thì nếu mà để suy nghĩ về team của em thì nếu mà ba từ đó thì chắc là vui vẻ, hòa đồng và nhiệt huyết.
Kể từ tròn một năm Summer Cup cho nên là giải WCS FENNEL lần này em rất phấn khích.
Mình cảm thấy khá là vui mừng bởi vì đây là lần đầu tiên mình tham gia giải đấu quốc tế.
Tại giải đấu lần này mình chờ mong là team mình sẽ đạt được top 4 và giữ cái vé đi chung kết thế giới.
Điều là mình trông chờ nhất là cái cúp của giải đấu lần này.
Theo mình, đội tuyển mạnh nhất ở phiên bản này là Flash.
Vì Flash có lối đánh khá nhanh và dứt khoát.
Với sức mạnh hiện tại và nếu như bọn em có thể giữ vững phong độ thì ứng cử viên sân chức vô địch sắp tới chắc chắn là team Flash.
Cảm ơn mọi người đã theo dõi tụi mình, hãy cổ vũ cho tụi mình giải đấu sắp tới nhé.
Giải đấu lần này thì mình sẽ cố gắng cùng đồng đội mang chiếc cúp vô địch về cho Việt Nam.
สวัสดีครับพวกเราตัวแทนประเทศไทยนะครับจากทีม Untitled Esports ครับ ผมอาชนี่ครับผมโนเอลครับผมโคเดนฟิกครับผมแบงค์ครับ
สวัสดีครับ พวกเราทีม EVOS Esports ผม G4 ครับ
ผมวรัตครับผมลอยครับผมแฟร์เพเยอร์ครับ
ผมลีเนียครับ ผมแคสตานครับ
ว่าทีมสั้นๆเหรอครับก็คงเป็นโหดมากๆครับเพราะว่าทีมเราโหดมากๆครับ
นิยามสั้นๆของ EVOS นะครับก็คือกดดันมากครับเพราะว่าทีมเราเนี่ยก็เป็นตัวเต็งมาโดยตลอดแล้วก็เป็นตัวผมเองด้วยที่ตั้งเป้าหมายไว้สูงตลอดนะครับแล้วก็ผมเชื่อว่าผู้เล่นทุกคนในทีมเนี่ยมี potential ในการทำสิ่งนี้ครับ
รู้สึกยังไงที่ได้ไป WCS อะครับก็คงรู้สึกดีนะครับเพราะว่าเราก็ได้เป็นตัวแทนประเทศไทยนะครับในการไปแข่งในรายการระดับนานาชาตินะครับก็จะทำให้ดีที่สุด
รู้สึกดีใจครับแล้วก็รู้สึกเสียใจที่ไม่ได้แชมป์ครับแต่ว่าโดยรวมก็รู้สึกดีครับที่ว่ายังได้ไปอยู่ครับ
เป้าหมายของ WCS คืออยากติดท็อป 4 ใน C ครับผมอยากเป็นตัวแทนประเทศไทยในการแข่งเวทีระดับโลกครับผม
ตั้งเป้าหมายว่าเป็นแชมป์ครับของทัวร์นี้ครับแล้วก็ไม่อยากพลาดเหมือนเดิมนะครับ
ทีมไหนที่เป็นตัวเต็งครับก็คงเป็นทีมบุรีรัมย์ยูไนเต็ดอีสปอร์ตครับเพราะว่าเขาสร้างประวัติศาสตร์หลายภาคในประเทศนะครับ
น่าจะเป็นทีมแฟร์บูนะครับเพราะว่าฟอร์มในการแข่งเขานี่ค่อนข้างจะดีมากครับแบบแพ้น้อยมาก
อยากฝากให้แฟนคลับก็อยากให้แฟนๆที่เชียร์พวกเราติดตามพวกเราไปจนถึงรอบสุดท้ายนะครับพวกเราจะทำให้ดีที่สุดครับ
อยากฝากอะไรถึงแฟนๆเหรอครับก็ฝากติดตามพวกเราใน WCS นี้ด้วยครับ
大家好，我是来自闪电狼的飞龙路选手拉挺座康，然后我来自大师赛区。
大家好，我是来自 One Team 的辅助位选手宁甲7，我来自 WCS 大师赛区。
我想我们团队的优点应该是稳健、团结、敢打吧。然后我们的稳健的风格，就是因为我们在真物件方面，然后的营运上面也做得比别人好。然后团结部分就是在进行检讨的时候，然后我们不会因为自己个人的想要成一些英雄，然后不去听其他队友的意见。然后敢打就是我们在争夺一些小龙团战的时候，我们只会打我们想要打的架，我们不会去随便乱打，除非对面想来送。
用3个形容词形容我的团队的话，我相信第一个一定是团结，因为我们认为激斗峡谷这个游戏，如果你不团结，就没有办法就是走向胜利。那第二个的话就是互相信任嘛。因为团结中，如果你没有互相信任队友的话，其实你们并没有办法做好团结这件事情。那第3个其实就是友善。其实我们整体队伍的气氛其实非常非常好。我们认为就是互相良性的沟通是可以很好的建立团队优势这块。
进入 WCS 总决赛感想是，我觉得蛮兴奋的，因为毕竟很久没有打进，我们已经沉寂1年了，然后这次终于在比赛上面有所表现，然后蛮令人期待的。
对进入 WCA 总决赛的感想，就是其实心情并没有到非常开心吧，因为我认为我们在大师赛区总决赛这一块打的地方并不是很好，那希望可以在后面可以做出一些改变。
我希望我们团队在这场比赛中可以至少拿到前2名的成绩，然后尽量是有门票啦。然后希望我个人的期许是至少可以拿一次5连杀吧，因为毕竟没有在比赛上拿过，最多就4杀而已。
那对于 WCA 总决赛的期许的话，我们队友的目标一定是以总冠军为主。那我自己个人会希望我把这个团战给开好，就是帮队友建立一个好的开团优势，然后让队友可以安心的输出。那目标的话还是以总冠军为主吧。
最害 害怕的对手应该是 BRU 吧，因为毕竟他们的风格跟我们的风格是完全不一样。他们的风格比较属于那种疯狗式的打法，然后希望这次在遇到他们的时候，我们也可以用相同的方式打他们回去，让他们知道他们不能这样玩。
我认为 WCA 总决赛最有竞争力的队伍应该是大师赛区的闪电狼，因为我自己认为，其实，在 WCA 整个全部11支队伍里面的话，闪电狼的就是他们的秩序是做得非常非常好的。他们在所有的规划上都做得有条有序，在所有的比赛上打起来，我觉得闪电狼是最有竞争力的一支队伍。
谢谢各位一路从例行赛支持我们到季后赛，然后到现在的总决赛。如果没有你们的话，我们可能没有办法表现得这么好。感谢有你们，然后希望我们可以拿下世界冠军。
那还是要跟所有支持我们One Team的粉丝说，谢谢你们一路以来支持。那也请你们在 WCS 总决赛中继续支持我们One Team，我们一定会好好的打进世界大赛。
Hi, I'm Lance Hernandez, also known as Kaigu, and I'm from Team RRQ. We're from the Philippines.
Hi, my name is Miguel Vincent Pison, and my IGN is Araisan from Team FENNEL Adversity, and we represent Philippines in the upcoming WCS Finals tournament.
I would describe my team as aggressive, instinctual, and mechanical because our team usually relies on the players' mechanical skills and instincts and aggressiveness to defeat and overpower opponents.
Una po sa lahat ay makulit kasi marami lang po silang ginagawang mga unnecessary na bagay. Tapos yung pangalawa po ay gutumin kasi lagi po silang nagugutom kahit mga madaling araw na po sa umaga. Tapos yung pangatlo, maingay po kasi minsan po masyado na nakakarindis sa tenga yung mga ingay na ginagawa nila.
It feels great, but to be honest, we didn't really expect that we would win it all. But I'm glad that we didn't give up and we really tried our best making it through the lower brackets.
Napakasaya po na nakarating kami sa WCS Finals kasi sa lahat ng hard work at practice na pinagdaanan namin sa mga puyat, naging worth it lahat kasi umabot kami dito.
Of course, we're looking to test our team and our team strengths against the top teams of the other regions.
Ang inaasahan ko po na mas tougher yung competition sa WCS Finals compared sa Philippines. Kasi yung mga kasali po ay mga top contender from other regions na mga champions and runner-ups.
For me, it's Flash Wolves from Taiwan because they play really well and they play really clean while drifting.
Isa po sa top contender na feeling ko sa WCS Finals ay yung Team Flash po kasi po parang masyado po silang flexible sa mga draft nila lagi sa nakikita ko sa tournament sa pag nanonood po ako sa Vietnam. Kaya po tingin ko sila din po yung isa sa pinaka best contender para sa WCS Finals.
To all our fans and supporters out there, please watch and support our team as we compete at the WCS Finals this upcoming May.
Hi po sa lahat ng mga sumusuporta sa FENNEL Adversity since day one. Sana po pagpatuloy niyo po kaming suportahan this upcoming WCS Finals. Gagalingan pa po namin at gagawin namin ang lahat para makapag-qualify kami sa upcoming Icons Tournament na magaganap sa Europe.
Oke, nama gue Dewa, gue dari Indonesia. Nama tim gue adalah Persis Esports. Tim gue dalam 3 kata itu troller, tukang tilt, sama jago. Alasannya ya emang begitulah kita, tukang troll. perasaan gue bisa masuk ke WCS Final, tentunya gue sangat seneng ya. Kerja keras gue terbayarkan. Semoga gue di WCS Final bisa mendapatkan slot ke Worlds. Tim yang pengen gue temuin di WCS Final, RRQ. Tim yang paling terberat itu mungkin Vietnam sama Thailand. Itu tim terberat menurut gue. Alasannya emang mereka keras-keras sih. Pesan gue untuk supporter tim gue, tetap dukung kita. Semoga kita dapat mendapatkan slot ke World Championship. Amin. Persis Solo masuk.
Hello guys, we're Sam Knight and we're from the NYSG region. Old folks home. It's because our team has a lot of experienced, fine gentlemen, some well-aged gentlemen in our team. That's why we are old folks home. Why give me a tap? This is the time we make it to Worlds. Yeah. Since we are in the playoff directly, so we no longer have the group stage curse, so I think we just have to go to Worlds. What can we do? One way ticket. Yeah. I think pretty much everyone is pretty strong. Flash Wolf, VRU, Team Flash, they are all good, so I think, yeah, but we'll beat them all. I'll see you guys in the game during the WCS finals that's coming up. So yeah, stay tuned guys.
Living my own pace. Ain't no running round, rapping myself up. Ay, ay. Pulling me back up. Ain't no knocking down, healing my heartache. Ooh. Flying miles ahead of my shadow. Mojo. I'll be climbing up another level. Mojo. Flying miles ahead of my shadow. Mojo. I'll be climbing up another level. Mojo. Living my own pace. Ain't no running round, wrapping myself up. Ay, ay. Pulling me back up. Ain't no knocking down, healing my heartache. Ooh. Flying miles ahead of all my shadow. Mojo, I'll be climbing up another level. Mojo, flying miles ahead of all my shadow. Mojo, I'll be climbing up another level. Mojo. Some days I just can't get up, comatose, stupid. Same old energy, scared of what the future holds for me and all my friends. We want so much better. We can only get there if we all just come together. So take my hand, let's own this moment. No one can stop this now. Your love is what's most important. No one's gonna take us down. So love me now. We ain't got a lot, but we got this moment. Love me now. We ain't got a lot, but we got each other. Recognition, demolition, I just need your light. Upside down, turn it around. I know you know I'm right. Take this love and give it, world, your heartbeat. We can only get there, it's a two-way street. So take my hand, let's own this moment. No one can stop this now. Your love is what's most important, and no one's gonna take us down. So love me now.
I can hear whispers too far away. I can hide, but I'll try. I see the walls are caving in. I can hear whispers too far away. I can hide, but I'll try. I see the walls are caving in. If I were to stay in here forever, I would want the sun to come alive. If my heart was lighter than a feather, if I were to stay in here forever, I would want the sun to
can see. Fly with me. Come on, baby, set me free. You say that you know the truth. Inside of me, inside you. Always got something to prove. Don't know what it means to lose. What would you do? Oh, look at the light in your eyes. Beneath the veil of the skies. Baby, keep holding on tight. We'll win the fight. Oh. I've been walking that walk. What I hear it's all talk, yeah. Never taking days off. Wait till a month's up, yeah. That show me love. Oh, always play the same song. Don't forget what's right from wrong. You just got to hang on, take a chance, let it go. You can have all that you want. I can see. Fly with me. Come on, baby, set me free. You say that you know the truth. Inside of me, inside you. Always got something to prove. Don't know what it means to lose. What would you do? Oh, look at the light in your eyes. Beneath the veil of the skies. Baby, keep holding on tight. We'll win the fight. Oh.
Never get enough, we could have it all. Gonna take a chance, we can never fall. Yeah, I feel so strong, unstoppable. Just hold on tight, gotta let it roll. Don't stop this feeling, let's take it too far. Live for these moments, let's reach for the stars. A million to one. Invincible, invincible. So wild and so young. Just you and me. A million to one. Invincible, invincible. So wild and so young. 'Cause we are invincible. Yeah, we are invincible.
Kill the freaking flip is just too far, and they're going to get the kill. Semua reporte cakep banget, loncat lagi. Không, nhà biết rồi, nhưng mục tiêu lực lượng của người đẹp lại là hàng.
Yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, and today is a gift for the best of a team in South Asia to carve their journey when it comes to the WCS Finals Play-ins, day number 2. And before that, this is brought to you by Riot Games, and thank you for our sponsors, Coca-Cola. I'm your host today, Choo Choo. We'll be joined by our always amazing panelists. It's going to be Riku and Odaluz today. How are you guys feeling?
I'm feeling dandy, feeling great. Look at me, I'm dancing in my seat.
I'm feeling super excited because we do know today is going to be a hellish day, definitely. And Odaluz, I can see that yesterday you were crying and today hopefully you'll be smiling.
Well, definitely. You know, I'm looking forward for a better outcome today. FENNEL Adversity will only be playing once, but more than that, I'm just so excited because finally we will see a region that, you know, that we have waited for a long time, and that's OCE.
Oh yeah, speaking of OCE, we have SLG joining in today. And I'm happy because right now this is the team that actually flew across Oceania just to be here. And finally we get a team to actually play here offline. How do you think about this, Riku?
I think it's great because you have this, you know, the studio energy. You know? I think that could be like a buff later on.
I mean, like, definitely there's no problems when it comes to their performance. Definitely they are having the best internet to be used against for all the other teams. But can they actually pull it off? But before that, you know what? You guys who just joined us today, you'd have no clue what's happening in the tournament. Let's just jump straight into the tournament format just to be familiar with it.
The WCS has reached its final battleground. 11 teams have proven themselves on their local stage. But as the Wild Rift Icons Global Championship approaches, only those who truly deserve greatness will be rewarded. One last competition leads to global representation. This is the WCS Finals. We begin with the play-ins, where 5 teams will fight for only 2 playoff slots. All 5 teams will play in a best-of-2 round robin, where the first place team will proceed immediately to the playoff bracket. For the first and second runners-up, only 1 spot remains, and they must face each other in a best-of-5 showdown. In the playoffs, our play-in hopefuls meet the best Southeast Asia has to offer in an 8-team double elimination bracket featuring the local champions. Make the Final 4 and qualify for Icons. Be the last remaining team and earn the title of the first ever WCS champion. The choices we make define us. For our teams, their choices will lead them to greatness or to their elimination. So, what will they choose?
Already in our day 2 of play-ins, yesterday has been accelerating for most of us. We definitely saw, you know, some of the secret strategy and some of still hiding and sneaking around the corner. We haven't seen the best of them just yet. But speaking of which, we have the best of 5 teams giving another chance to get themselves into playoff. Now, we did mention about the prediction before this, who you guys advance and what so forth. But things, can they really make it based on yesterday's performance now, or to lose?
Well, yeah, there's still a chance for FLA, but it's more of like there's just one team that will be advancing. And as we look into the recap here,
Yeah, we're going to jump into what really happened if you guys missed yesterday and what we're talking about, just to see a glimpse of, to get the grasp of the idea what really about the drafting and how it turns out. We watched over for one team esports versus FLA at first. You were devastated for FLA yesterday.
Well, kinda, but
Kinda.
the thing about it is that it's a 1-1. It's not too bad, right? 0-2 will definitely be bad for you and for your team's chances. But what I want to talk about is yesterday, me and Omo, we asked this question. Are marksmen now back in the meta? Danny has been playing it, and there's one champion that really caught my attention, and that's Lucian.
Yeah.
Lucian, so far, 4-0. No loss as of yet.
Exactly right. There's a lot of strong marksmen, or rather AD carries, in the play-ins right now that want to show their skills, that want to play these late-game scaling carries like the Kaisa and the Vayne, and the Lucian seems to be the answer, especially in the 2v2 scenario, even in the mid lane. And when we talk about this interesting like rock, paper, scissors happening in the duo lane primarily, without the influence of the jungler, without the mid laners roaming towards bot, we're looking at, Lucian defeating Vayne. But Ziggs removes the kill pressure on any of the early game champions like the Lucian. And Senna set is a different iteration where you can be aggressive in a 2v2 standpoint, but if you want to chill out, if you want to stabilize the lane and make sure you remove kill pressure as well, especially if the Ziggs is not available, then you play Senna Nasus. Maybe even we get to see a Senna Singed.
Exactly, and look at this. We have two marksmen on one side, Cerberus Esports going double ham on this Corki in the middle lane, Varus on the Dragon lane, and it actually won them that game because, as we remember, there was one very good arrow that connected onto the Kazakhs, ultimately winning them that team fight and getting them that Dragon.
Yeah,
I love the return of the double AD carry, by the way, the double marksman in the mid lane and in the bottom portion of the map. It's not the same, I mean, we've seen it a couple of times before, but it's always Senna, Ashe, utility bot lane, and then marksman in the mid lane. Now it's different. It's both AD carries for both these lanes. So I like the return. Last time we saw this, it was popularized by one team. It was very popular back in the Summer Super Cup. I am loving the return of this type of composition.
So we can see a lot of double ADs after this. But the thing is, we saw the itemization just now popped up quite a lot when it comes to the lower turn. Almost all of the game, one of the champions that we saw just now have this first item Hullbreaker. So I know you're not a big fan of it, Riku.
Every time I see a first item Hullbreaker, this is exactly the face I make, because I know a lot of these teams, especially in the play-ins, love to fight 5v5. So having a first item Hullbreaker, and then you want to fight at the first dragon, at the Rift Herald, it nullifies your first item. It does nothing in a team fight. So this is my expression every single time.
But for me, okay, not to be the contrarian here, but it's more of like thinking outside the box. Why do teams keep on picking Hullbreaker first item? Remember that mid laners are the ones that, go for this item a lot. Corki, we saw Akshan as well. I think the 4 minutes to 8 minutes, they want to maximize their side lane pressure. At least that alone gives them the reason to buy it first. On top of the other options that they have, and so far the teams are not. And so far the teams
not happy with it.
Yeah, I know, but so far the teams are still able to play around it so much that the Hullbreaker's impact is not felt outright.
You know what, whatever reason you are just throwing out for Riku, she's just not going to reason with it. But hey, we'll leave that quarrel for a bit, but we're going to jump into the match schedule for today. Who will be against each other? And we do know there's only 3 series for today, so let's jump straight into it. The first one, we have Cerberus Esports versus SLG, their debut here for day number 2, and EVOS versus One Team Esports for the next series, and FLA versus SLG for today. Now we do know this is going to be a bit interesting, especially in the middle bracket one, which is going to be second series EVOS versus one. But for SLG side, this is going to be Cerberus, they're fighting against Riku.
Oh yeah, I know. This is going to be a very, very tough match for SLG, and I'm excited to talk about it later. But yeah, this is the debut of SLG over here at the WCS, and I'm excited to see them how they perform against, the top, the currently top in the standing CES.
I kind of want to just be excited about the FLA versus SLG one, but I cannot get my attention away from the second match, EVOS versus One Team. So much history. This is a rematch from the Summer Super Cup, and it took, how many months? 6, 7 months?
That's a long
to
time.
get back to, this epic battle between these two Goliaths.
Oh, well, there's a lot of storyline behind it. They have been here forever, since the dawn of Wild Rift itself, and it's going to be happening again, but we have more spicy stories later on, as we're going to jump definitely for later on when it comes to Team Rosa. We haven't seen a lot when it comes to SLG, right? We've seen yesterday when it comes to the roster of all the other 4 teams, but SLG, how do they play? How do Oceania play differently? Will it be the same as the other South Asia region? What are your thoughts on this?
It's a big question mark. Then again, it's their practice environment isn't as I would say as competitive as what we have here in Southeast Asia. I mean, you queue up on a ranked game and you will basically face other regions as well. But for OSE, they play amongst themselves. Now, if the question is, do they have the talent in that region? The answer is absolutely yes. League of Legends PC-wise, we're looking at Destiny, Lost, we're looking at FBI, Fudge. Those household names that we are now accustomed in seeing in NALCS was actually part of the OCE region.
Yeah, and you never know, right? That sort of, or quote, isolation, maybe you'll evolve like a Kha'Zix, and maybe be that answer perhaps and catch everybody by surprise.
But hey, let's not waste any more time. Let's see our first roster of the day, which is going to be Cerberus first. So these are the players Huborn will be playing today instead of Taku. We have Mass for the jungler, BM mid, Genza, and Fly. Now, this is where it gets spicy. Huborn in the fray for Riku. Do you think it's going to change?
I think that's definitely going to change the dynamic, just because of how Taku performed yesterday. I mean, he landed a lot of key showstoppers into face breakers in their matches yesterday. So there was a big question mark on how they can deal with 4-1 split push. Maybe this is the reason why they did this.
This is more of them just showing another face. I know that they have, or we have dubbed them as the team that has so many faces. They can put Lucian onto BMM or onto Genza. They can put Karma onto BMM, onto Genza. And yesterday, they had a flawless record. Everyone was so on point, but I would love to give credit to who really made it work. And I think it's Fly. He's the glue guy for Cerberus. His engages, his thresh is still being bad worthy, right? And his Gragas engages was so on point.
Oh yeah, definitely. So going back, three faces. It's actually 3 heads. I mean, it's Cerberus, right? It's Cerberus with the three heads.
Love me some dogs.
So I heard somebody have a bit of an artwork for Cerberus Esports specifically. I'm not sure if the production have it, but we're definitely going to show it later. Definitely, we want to see the artwork of one of our panelists here today. But speaking of Cerberus, they are still undefeated when it comes to the play-ins. They have a huge chance, we're talking about, to get into the playoff, one step closer, and then into the global icon later on. But do you think today they might face their first loss for Cerberus?
They've shown, I feel like they've already went past the air quote teams that will give them problems, like One Team and like FLA. So I don't think they'll get any losses today, Chu. No.
Yeah.
So SLG feels like a newcomer in the scene. Have to go through many layers of difficulties. They are in ordeal right now and being guarded by Cerberus for the ending.
Yeah, exactly. The gatekeepers, right? I believe that Cerberus.
Can we see production? Can we see the the Cerberus art right now?
We have to do it right now.
I really want to see it.
Yeah.
If it's that scary as a gatekeeper for the Cerberus.
I'm sure. They're
You're sure?
They're scary. See, isn't that a scary dog? Okay, so
wow, so scary. It's too cute to be scary.
The third one is scary. Okay. So this matchup in general, right? This is the labors of Hercules, basically. And the saddest thing is, SLG, like Cerberus is like the 12th and final labor, right? It's the hardest labor, and SLG has to start from the hardest here,
so
which is against Cerberus, huh?
They are the Hercules right now for SLG.
Yeah, SLG is Hercules here, and they have many heads, they have many faces. And the first head, as you can see, as you saw there earlier, it's the normal head of the brown collar, right? It's just a very tame. It's just BMM doing the carry with dual lane like becoming that late game scaling
Uh-huh.
potential with the Senna and the Nessus. And the second head is a little bit grumpy, you know, wearing the collar with a name tag on it that says Serbs. I got this from Brandon. He likes to call them Serbs earlier. and it is more on the iteration of what do you call this, of Mess being the carry. Like we've seen him
Right.
back in the local regional qualifiers where it was playing Kazakhs, it was playing Jax. So
Jax, yeah.
that's a different face for them. And the last face, which is my favorite, is the third head wearing the black collar with a lot of spikes. And that is the full-on aggression playing Lee Sin, Lucian, talking about Renekton. So just Karma as well, just enabling this early to mid-game full-on aggression. And I like the third face, the third head a lot.
Karma.
Of course, Karma. Yeah, and a lot of action.
That's very detailed with the 3
Uh-huh.
heads of very cute doggies. But she says it's very fierce and scary. But hey, what's scary next? We're gonna have EVOS from Thailand region. Let's see what they have on their lineup today. So yeah, there you go. We're waiting for it.
It's okay.
But speaking of EVOS, yesterday's
can talk ahead.
performance, right? They are in the middle bracket right now. So you mentioned about them. Never mind. We're gonna swap over to our newcomer first. Since we're talking about the
Oh.
Cerberus and the Hercules,
Yeah.
let's straight into SLG. What they have on their side. So this gonna be the SLG. They are very mysterious.
I know.
Up to the point, it's only silhouette on this screen.
I tell you, we're going to unlock them at the end of the day. But it's more Smash Logic Gaming. Again, just one thing that I would like to highlight here is we have Godv, DDD, Utopium, Vamus, and a new support, Fly. We would call him Fly. But the star player here is Vamus, a Dragon Laner for Smash Logic Gaming.
Sky.
Right.
Fly is gonna be
I know,
Cerberus.
I know.
So how do you
Sky,
pronounce
Sky,
it?
I'm sorry.
Aurora. We can call him Aurora.
Aurora, yeah,
Aurora,
possibly,
there
yeah.
you go.
But yeah, Smash Logic Gaming, again, we learned that they want to play wildcard, really. It kind of reminds me of QWQ from last year.
Oh,
they
yeah.
have mechanics, but they tend to play around more on that mechanics that their macro is not as crisp, right? They can beat you. They will play, assassins. They will play possibly the Soluna and Seraphine combo in the bot lane. But really, the question here is, are they ready to step up, especially against Cerberus?
Yeah, exactly right. This is going to be like their debut in the WCS. They have to face off against the hardest labor, the hardest trials in the WCS currently, because CES is undefeated. They've 2-0'd every single match yesterday, so this is definitely going to be a big challenge for them.
So, but the thing is, because they are kind of a mysterious team right now, so nobody had a clue about how their strat's working out. I think that's a bit of advantage, because sometimes they might go a bit unconventional.
Look at Vamus. Just look at Vamus. You're right. It is an advantage for you to have some strategy that your opponents will not be accustomed in seeing. They won't be as studied as the other teams. Then again, when it comes to mechanics, these guys have it, right? Again, OCE region. When it comes to talent, there's no questions there.
I think this is going to be a match made in heaven too, because wait, no, in this case, match made in hell. I'm sorry, because you want to SLG wants to strong arm, win fights, outplay them mechanics wise, and then of course Cerberus, they want to fight, they want to rumble as well. So I'm so looking forward to what the draft is going to look like as well.
But imagine if Cerberus actually taken down by the side of SLG. Now that's a Smash Logic statement.
That will be Hercules, right?
Hercules.
Yeah, no, Hercules that
Final
we're talking
form.
about. Exactly. Because we're talking about Cerberus here, right? And who was able to beat Hercules? Who was able to beat Cerberus? It was Hercules. Now, the question is, what version of Hercules will show up? Will it be the Hercules that's, still
In training?
or will we see the buffed Hercules?
Are you talking about the Disney Hercules
I know.
now?
You have a different version? Which version you have in your head right now? I'm so
Sorry,
confused.
the Disney one.
Do entertain us. I do want to know her mind of Hercules. We definitely have the same vibe here, but
Of
I'm not sure
course.
that one. Is it going to be a different Hercules that kind of slash anything else along the way? Or is it not just the Cerberus?
I don't know. It's just a Disney in my head. Maybe a little bit of Kingdom Hearts. I don't know on the side.
But hey, we did mention if they manage to slay out the gatekeeper, the Cerberus for SLG, definitely they can actually be up with a living. But if it's not, they're gonna have to start with the layers of the underground hellish. We have so many layers of it. We're gonna leave it to you guys. But do you think it's still at least possible for them to actually get one out of it for the series?
Let me do this impression. Right?
What does one mean?
There will always be a chance, right? However, how small that chance is, we will find out. But still, if the question is, will there be a chance? There is.
But hey, we're gonna have to put on hold because they definitely gonna be one of the best to watch out for these two teams. We have no clue about SLG. But let's talk about EVOS next from the Thai region. We saw them yesterday and they were amazing, but they are ups and downs for them.
I'm a big fan of EVOS ever since their performance in the Summer Super Cup and taking the championship title. I'm a big fan of Valdez because at the time, Valdez was the only one that could make Fiora jungle work in that tournament. And he kept doing it and doing it and doing it, and no one was practically punishing him. And the tag team with G4 as well, playing, even though like G4 on paper, really mechanically amazing, but he steps back a little bit sometimes and plays utility, plays Galio for the team, plays that setup for the entirety of EVOS. That's why I really love their dynamic.
And it's just now back to Valdez being able to show to everyone that he's a jungler to watch out for.
Yes.
Remember, the very first Baron steal was done by this guy, at least in this tournament, right? Valdez is just on a different level, and that's the reason why EVOS Esports is willing to give their resources over to this guy. Now, the question about EVOS, will they stick with this roster? Because we saw on their first series yesterday, G4 was relegated to support, letting a new mid laner in Linia, a rookie, play in the international stage.
I think that's sort of their training in this play-in, just to make sure they can actually make something new in the playoff. But do you think it might actually work it out? For any of you guys, you think about G4 being relegated. I don't like to call it relegated because support plays such a big part as well. But we do know his potential is in mid lane.
Yeah, well, I would call it relegated just because of his mechanic prowess, right? You're now being forced to play the Nasus.
Sorry for all the support players out there.
G4 has a duality in the mid lane, right? We talked about how he can play utility. He's also been playing a lot of assassins recently in the regional tournament. So if you put him in support, he can play Zed support.
Yeah,
he can play Zed Akali. No, support Akali. but yeah, it probably works only in like ranked games, but not this one. Not here.
I agree. It's too much at stake, actually, because right now, they kind of in a middle bracket. We mentioned about this yesterday. The middle bracket right now is kind of you win or you lose, you do or you die to up to that point, right?
Exactly. There's so narrow path to victory. Again, when we talk about this play-in stage, it's very tight. It's very tight. Every game really counts.
Oh, that's why we call it hellish today, because definitely the CERBERUS is gatekeeping all the way up there. But hey, we have next one in line. Let's just jump straight into another team, which I think is going to be One Team Esports.
One Team. One Team is a team where, while watching their games, they really like their 25-minute win condition, right? And that's why the Ziggs has been an incredibly important champion to slow down the game, because that's definitely their win condition. But the thing is, a lot of these teams have figured it out. They're banning all of these wave clear champions and forcing them into champions that, the second layer, the next best thing or the next good thing, maybe like a Lux. So I like what the other teams are reading against One Team. So now this is a new day for them to begin. Like, what else can they do if those important champions for them are banned?
For me, if you were a fan of EVOS Esports since Summer Super Cup, Autolus is a big fan of One Team Esports, and we are still looking at the same set of players, except for Yumao. Now, I'm so excited about Yumao because so far it's been popping off. Their game yesterday in where they won, Yumao was 11-1-6 on a Kai'Sa that is engaging for the team. That's just how confident this guy is, and kind of brings a different dimension to the team. I do understand what your point, Riku. They tend to slow down the game, try to reach that point in where the Elder Dragon will secure them the game, and sometimes it's risky. But knowing One Team, if you give them the lead, they will most likely just take care of it and end up winning.
They're going to take care of it a long time. It'll take 10 minutes longer. Yeah, they're going to baby that lead.
But do you think any chance that halfway through they might actually change their playset for a bit for one? They might be evolving.
Depends on what's open. Like, they're forced to play early just because all of the late game scaling champions are going to be banned anyway, so they're forced to evolve because of the draft.
But I agree with you regarding Yuma. We saw how insane when it comes to the marksman if it's in the Yuma's hands. But the thing is, we have seen a lot of APC yet when it comes to the dual laner today.
I love his
Yesterday.
Ziggs though, but his locks, I feel that he's being more reserved on this champion, mainly because of its kit. But Riku was on point on that one. It really revolves around the draft. Yesterday, they faced, adversities against CERBERUS Esports because CERBERUS Esports really planned well against them.
But we're gonna put on hold for that because right now we're just gonna moving on to the next one. Last but not least, we have FENNEL Adversity. Now this is gonna be both of your favorites, definitely, and I'm loving them as well. But speaking of yesterday's performance,
Autolus glared at me when you said your favorites. In my mind, I was like, third favorite in the play-in.
What happened now?
Oh, you know what happened. But
Come
I know
on,
you want to
come
say
on,
something. I know
Autolus.
you wanna.
Well, yeah, it's kind of difficult to process this as early as now. Like this Horizon thing, it's an experiment. It worked half of the time, right? Because their score is
Horizon
1-1.
thing.
This Horizon into the support. Again, guys, for everyone watching that really did miss yesterday's games, Rafi, or Rave, as we call him, is not playing as a support of Danny. He's been, a long-time support of Danny, and Horizon is now subbing in to put on that aggression.
Oh yeah, because I really thought that Rafe was the best pair for Danny to enable him to be aggressive as maybe a Kaisa or a Vayne. But Arisen, it seems to double, times two, FENNEL, not only Danny's lane, but the rest of the squad. Like, he enables the squad to be extra aggressive, which is quite it's deviating from the usual FENNEL Adversity, where they're quite similar to one team, they're very slow, but when Arisen is there in the bottom portion of the map supporting, boom, they suddenly become extra aggressive. Reminds me of EVOS a little bit.
So both of you kind of prefer this lineup than actually having Rafe in the roster right now.
Yeah, I don't. I understand that you want to play aggressive, but I still think that this is not the time for you to throw out experiments. You became the #2 team. At one point, I believe that they were the best team in the Philippines, and Philippines is a region that I believe is one of the strongest in Southeast Asia. So why change something that's already working?
He's definitely upset right now, but hey, put it on hold again because right now we're gonna walk into our first series later on, which is gonna be CERBERUS Esports versus SLG. Now, as always, I do know your name is Autolus, but hopefully you change it auto win because when you predict, it will automatically winning for the team. But for your prediction, the scores for CES versus SLG, what is gonna be?
CERBERUS Esports for me 2-0.
Woof woof, 2-0. It's gonna be CERBERUS for all this lineup today, with all of us getting a 2-0 versus SLG for me as well. Hey, I'm saying the whole lineup here, definitely. We saw what they did yesterday. They are still undefeated, definitely. Which we're gonna say CERBERUS versus SLG. The one that's dominating versus the mysterious one, because we do know SLG very unconventional, and the lineup is kind of, is it this one or that one? Do you think it's going to be a hard time for CERBERUS in the first place?
Is it going to be hard for SLG?
For CERBERUS.
For CERBERUS? No!
Come on, give it a bit.
No, cause right, they're like, we talked about this, we brought this up before. Like, this is literally the tale of Hercules, the labors of Hercules, right?
Yep.
So this is the 12th and final trial in the tale,
Yeah.
which is SLG. They're the Hercules in this tale. This is their debut in the WCS. This is going to be very difficult because this is the hardest, and this is their first time. Their first match is against the dogs, CERBERUS. So at this point, I want to say that this is going to be a comfy match for CERBERUS, but they still have to keep their guard up because in the tail, Hercules destroyed CERBERUS. Well, not destroyed, but pretty much defeated them.
Yeah, I was able to win. And for me, again, SLG, as we look at it, I know that I did predict against them a 2-0 because that's just the most logical prediction that I can bring out here. But to think that we have OC here as a region is worth celebrating, right?
Yeah.
It's a long time coming, and the long wait is over, and I cannot wait to see them in action, right? Face to face, because to me, they offer something more to this region. They will just make us stronger as a whole.
They flew across just to be here, and we can't wait to see their performance, also their faces. But hey, we have another series also on the go, which is going to be EVOS versus One Team Esports. This prediction, now this is going to be a hard one. Starting off the furthest away is going to be Riku first, EVOS or One, and how the score will be.
It ain't hard for me. I think it's EVOS 2-0.
Wow. Wow.
It's been the case since Summer Super Cup, and I'm sticking with my guns here. One Team 2-0.
Wow, this is interesting. It's very different between these two panelists. Now, I'm going to be the one playing the neutral part. I know it sounds cowardly, but I'm going to go for 1-1 for both EVOS and One Team. Just to be fair, okay? Just to be fair. But we saw just now, we saw yesterday, how One kind of scaling up. But if they really can scale up to late game, even though they lost the game with, I think they picked the Lux one.
Yep.
But it still managed to kind of flip the table for a tiny moment. What are your thoughts about this, Odolus?
That's the veteran leadership that they have in Cianio, right? One Team, again, Cianio was the one that was able to open up that lane and was able to extend the game into forever, right? I think that was a 26-minute game, if I'm not mistaken. But more than that, I kind of just want to remember how EVOS won that SSC tournament as a whole. And I believe it was at the back of Tipper. Tipper was just an absolute madman in the Baron lane. Now, where's Tipper? Riku, are you sure about this EVOS thing?
I'm sure, because you know what happened in Game 5 at Summer Super Cup?
Okay.
G4 Galio, he was setting up for the
Alright.
entire squad. That game was incredibly long, but in the end, G4 saw an opportunity, taunted everybody, ended the game. So I'm
Alright.
very confident with this 2-0 against One Team.
This is actually a sequel because back in Summer Super Cup finals, she predicted for EVOS and I predicted for One Team. I think I was just one of the few that really predicted for One Team to win that championship. Ended up me being, on the crying end because I ended up losing. But here today, I guarantee you, I'll be the one with might and just head up high. That's it.
I feel like I want to say round 2. Ding, 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 you guys fight. But hey, we're going to hold as we're going to walk into our first series. First, let's take a peek between CERBERUS Esports versus also SLG. Now straight into the draft we go. You mentioned about, is it viable now for a marksman? Do they have to ban it out? We'll be looking over, maybe ban out Seraphine because it's SLG. Hey, what are your thoughts, Riku?
Okay, Seraphine. Seraphine unlocks so many things, right? We've seen it, Seraphine being paired with an Olaf as well, because it's basically long-range Karma, right? You do every single thing that a Karma does as well. You have Initiate, you have the shields, you have movement speed. So I think it's just a long-range Karma. And it's also, in a laning phase, I think it's a really good counter to a Karma lane. So if they do pick up that Seraphine, and if they leave open the Karma, I think that's highly possible.
Still a longer cooldown though, if you ask
That's
me.
true. That's also true.
But again, when we talk about SLG, we have to focus on Vamas. Whatever he picks up, it will be the most exciting point for SLG. Now, question still arises. He has a new support, right? That's a new dynamic that we have to uncover here. And so far, as we wait for the ban, you mentioned, Riku, that CERBERUS has a Karma that they have picked twice in a row yesterday on series number 1, and they used it so well.
Yeah, and the best part is they can flex it in the mid lane and as well as in their duo lane, depending on what the draft is going to look like up against SLG. So really excited how it's going to rotate this time around, because again, it's not Taco at the top portion of the map.
But I don't know, they're still taking a lot of time to ban the first one. We have so many ideas out for them, but definitely they are taking their own sweet time. I agree with the sort of Votulus saying that they have a new dynamic, taking Aurora in the team here. Definitely it will change so much when it comes to even laning phase. It's going to be a bit of a problem.
They say that Sona and Seraphine, the Songstress bot duo, is an easy pair that you could just play on the fly. I disagree. you have to have a very good synergy in order for you to maximize your kit because it revolves around cooldown and resources, resource being mana.
Yeah, Senna Seraphine lane is really good against lanes that are like Ziggs. Basically lanes that do not do anything, that do not kill you. So I think it's really good for mid-game compositions like Olaf, Lucian mid, because you enable them and you basically, once Olaf presses Ragnarok, you have all the movement speed in the world to join the Olaf with the kit that a Sona and Seraphine has.
But you mentioned about Olaf and coming in, but we do also have Cerberus changing up with Hubon taking the Baron lane. And we saw Taku yesterday with a set. That was amazing. Is it going to be the same thing once they actually swap into Hubon here?
I think there was an issue that the casters in the panelists that we kept talking about how there could be an issue with the 4-1 split push, with the 1-3-1, that they have no answer because most of their draft and the way that they play the map is basically just 5v5. And that's the reason why some of the games end so long, even though they win early.
Oh, we finally have our bans.
Okay, finally. But just to add up onto that, Yubon, I believe, is the better set player. So I would consider this move as a genius one because against SLG that really loves their team fight, having that set will just break the team fight open right away, right? Now, looking onto the bans, we see Jace being banned once again. No Jace yet so far in the play-ins.
They don't want to. They're removing that at this point. They don't want to get that because Jace can snowball pretty easily, and we've seen a couple of Jace players that do Hullbreaker first item. Even though I don't like it, it still works.
But hey, they are so open up for the options. They're even gonna skip a ban here just to make sure they have more oceans of champions to actually pick on.
To me, that's more exciting because we get to see more champions open for the taking. On the other side, though, SLG, we now see that the Camille has been prioritized to be taken away. I'm looking at the options here. If it's Yubon's time to pick, I believe this is the time to bring out the set.
Yeah, set is open. Get it. Unless you want to pick the Karma. You know, I'm not totally biased against, I'm not totally biased on Karma, but I think you should pick it, CES.
Do you believe that?
I don't believe you.
Yeah, nobody believes you.
Never.
Everybody can see how obsessed you are.
Yo,
I'm
Karma's
sorry.
the best champion at the moment
you
in
know
Wild
what?
Rift.
You know what? About Riku and Karma? Because even before Karma was released, right, you were so happy with it being released. And she was so excited, and she was telling tales that back in League of Legends PC, that was her main. So, yeah, I don't believe you. That's it.
Karma, but hey, I also play a lot of Karma, but personally I feel like, I don't know, is it just me? Maybe I'm a noob in the first place. It feels like Karma doesn't have actually scaling up to the very late except for the Transcendence Embrace.
That is true. That is very true because she's played to mostly enable the game. She's really strong early to mid. She has really good AP ratios only in the early game, but after that, she can't match any of the big popular AP carries in the bot lane or even in the mid lane. So she's there. That's why you see Ludens Echo Rabadons, and then the rest of the item is very supportive.
Exactly.
Like the Staff of Flowing Water. For ability haste, works so well for her, works so well for her team. I love Karma so much.
I think we should let her cosplay one day as a Karma, just because it's Riku. Okay, but hey, speaking of which, so I want to ask Odos, based on Riku's perspective just now, it means that if you have Karma on your team, you have to end the game quite early then.
Not really. You still have the option to have a super carry or hyper carry. Remember yesterday, they drafted a Lucian in the mid lane with Karma in the bot lane. She just unlocked Lucian on a different level. Like Lucian's power strength, especially in this patch, is this. With the Karma, it's this.
Yeah,
Wow.
So good, so good.
It's
that's
just the
that's
best
all I'm going to say.
Maybe we should make a law between Lucian and Karma right now based on this patch, because right now they are like sort of lovers.
Yeah, because you can...
Bye, Senna. Bye,
Senna. Senna's going to be mad. But because having a Karma paired with a Lucian allows a Lucian to play like an idiot. Like you just dash forward because you just keep shielding, and then that's totally fine because you're not exactly going to get punished. Unless I say a Seraphine Rakan can easily punish because of how short range these two are. Well, Karma in
You've
general.
been forcing the Seraphine.
Seraphine too, yeah, Seraphine. Because whenever Karma would go forward just to poke with the inner flame, you just poke back and you have a longer range and you can't go near. But the cooldowns are the sad part about Seraphine. She can't catch up to Karma's cooldown.
I feel like Riku, right? When she sees Seraphine and Karma, it feels like she's looking
Yeah.
at a lot of lollipops. Which one I should pick? This is good. I want this too. She wants everything. But hey, we're gonna remake that match for a bit. We're gonna go back into the draft very soon. But you guys actually watching at home, don't forget to drop your prediction as well, because we do want to know who do you think will take away versus Cerberus that's undefeated. But we saw just now a bit of a glimpse about the draft. So are we going in or not right now? Maybe. Maybe we're waiting for it. I can't wait for it.
Since Riku has a trademark champion that she really loves to,
She's
to
obsessed.
see.
It's more than love, it's obsessed.
Now I'm thinking, what champion would I love to
Aren't
see?
you a Singed person, Otto?
Well, I'm a Singed person, but
No.
there's, other
You
champions.
told me earlier today it was different.
Yeah, in the jungle, there's that one dragon that when it was picked in our region, I was just so excited. That's the Shyvana. I'm not 100% sure if it will be picked up here, but I see it effective if we will see, the Lulu in the mid lane or the Karma. Because again, Karma is that champion that has damage in the early game, but can augment your carries. And what better way to do it than having a hyper carry, not just in the Dragon Lane, but also in the jungle.
You mean like funneling the Shyvana in that way, like to have a mid laner that can sustain the lane just to feed off to the Shyvana. But why are we not looking any Shyvana? I'm dying to see one, but hey, maybe the game's too fast now? What are your thoughts? You're a Shyvana player. He taught me earlier today. He showed me his clips. Look at my clips. I got a penta on my Shyvana. The only dragon that's
tell
really
you,
important.
If
you have to
Shyvana gets picked here in WCS finals, I'm a do something crazy for everyone to see.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah,
I
do want to
I'm gonna think about it. Maybe, lay an egg or something.
Good
Similar
luck.
to like a dragon. But for me, again, just to answer your question, it's just because it's very much telegraphed. And I think understanding Shyvana takes a long time, right? I did have, a lot of pointers, and the number of games I have on that champion is similar to Riku, I believe. Riku is that person on the Karma, and I believe I'm that person on Shyvana.
Okay, so you guys are obsessed with something, definitely. And somebody gonna lay an egg. If I do hope SLG, since they're unconventional, I do hope they pick a Shyvana now.
No.
Because I want to see Odalus to lay an egg and how he actually works and how he can sound like when he's laying an egg.
Are dragons mammals or reptiles?
What a question. Reptile. I believe it's a reptile. It's a reptile, though.
They lay
Is it?
eggs, right?
Yeah, they lay eggs.
Oh, makes sense why you want to lay
But
an
they
egg.
breathe fire, so they're not cold-blooded. So what
Amazing.
are they? That's why they don't exist anymore, guys, for this reason. But speaking of SLG and Cerberus, we're definitely going to jump into the match very soon. Hope you guys are patient enough for it because we can't wait. We definitely know your hype and also excitement. But we did saw, I want to mention this regarding you mentioned about Seraphine and also Sona and also maybe Vijana, maybe even all the enchanters in the game itself will be picked by SLG. Is there any certain reason? Because right now, after the patch where we have the Divine Sunderer coming in, nobody wants to pick something that tanky as a support anymore.
For me, I'm okay with them picking the enchanters just as long as they ban the Thresh. I mean, the Fly's Thresh is so deadly that he can abuse from minute number 1, right? From the laning phase, from the get-go, he could just make an impact on the game. And yeah, whatever. Play the Soraka, I'm okay with it. I'm actually a huge Soraka fan as well.
Oh my god, you know who brought up both Karma and Soraka in the same game? FENNEL Adversity. So the way that it worked was they built a very no reset comp. So basically they kept fighting and fighting, and if they're low, the Soraka would keep healing and they can go again. The other team would just have to go home to base just to heal up.
They're just the Undying then.
The Undying comp. Like the version 2 of it.
Because there is actually a very interesting item now, item choice for Soraka, right? Fimble Winter. Basically gives you a limited amount of mana and gives you a lot of health, which are the resources that you need in order for you to sustain not just yourself, but also your teammates. Now, Fimble Winter plus Warmugs, oh my god, that's a dream for a
I
Soraka
have to
player.
agree with the Frozen Colossus as deep passive. That's definitely going to be very tanky, but it actually works quite right. We saw a lot like Nasus. We did see a couple of Nasus players first pick now these days, and straight with a Fimo Winter. Do you think that's going to be carried on up to the grand finals here, Riku?
If we're talking about like the short term up until tomorrow, I have a big feeling that it's still gonna appear just because of how flexible a Senna lane can be. Do you want an aggressive lane or do you want a stabilizing lane? And you pick the Nasus for the stabilizing late game thingy, and if you want aggressive, you pick Set, Galio, Rakan.
I do know Nasus is not really Cerberus thing, but hey, it kind of works
Are
well
you
with
sure?
their logo. I hope
Exactly.
they actually pick that, but let's straight jump into our draft. For our first series of today, Cerberus versus SLG, we saw the ban earlier. Now they're gonna go for Senna first.
Senna, first ban, okay.
Oh, they want to rumble. They want to rumble in the bot lane. If CS can still pick Ziggs, right? But you know, they want action. They want the 2v2. I have this inkling that they know that they can take SLG on. So this might go for what, a Lucian Corki lane or something that can fight 2v2 early.
Hey, your Karma is not gonna be here.
No.
I'm sorry.
Let me just emphasize on one point, and I think this is very important. CES, if they get to 2-0 this, they have locked, or they will lock the first seed, which means that they get straight to the playoffs. So I'm thinking, as much as I want CES to be experimental, right, and having fun with all these champions, I think they know what's at stake here, and if they get a 2-0, they end up straight to the playoffs.
From my perspective, every time they add Inhuman in the roster, it means they're super serious right now, usually. But hey, they ban out Zig, they ban out Sat.
They want to fight.
Yeah.
Definitely. What do you think is going to be the first champ they're going to be picked off here?
Well, I want to see what the bands, because Jace, what Autolus mentioned, Jace is all,
Jace!
They can fight. They can go mid or top. And we talked about the problem with the 1-3-1 and the 4-1 yesterday for Cerberus. If they pick Jace, maybe we get to see that.
Finally.
If they get to pick Jace, how do you think the team actually the other draft will complement with it?
It's very flexible. You have an AD mid lane, which means that you can still draft an AP bot lane that could possibly a Seraphine as requested by this person.
What are you pointing at me?
Possibly just Lux, right? Lux, what else? Morgana. Morgana hasn't been picked up yet. But Jace's flexibility is not just on the mid lane, but also on the Baron lane. I saw multiple times on regional finals for every other region that Jace is a champion that you can use on as a bully. Now, one champion that can really go toe-to-toe in the mid lane against the Jace, that's the Lucian, and now we have a
Wukong. This is a Yasuo Wukong.
That's right.
For some reason, I am thinking if they're gonna pick up Gragas as well, might be overkill. But Gragas, Lucian lane can be aggressive, but I like the response coming from Cerberus, right? Because you outrange the Lucian with this Varus, and as well as this Thresh. You just poke at him at the safe distance. So SLG can focus on heavy engage, or do they want sustain? Do they want the Nami lane? Or just go all in. We don't care about healing. We'll just go all in and not let them poke.
straight in your face, right? One thing that I'm worried about SLG, that one champion that I would love to see banned, that's the Thresh, right? It really would break your mental, at least in the bot lane, if he keeps on connecting on his hooks. And then I believe his accuracy is so on point.
It's absolutely scary, right? You said that his fly's accuracy on this Thresh is so on point. That means layering of single target CC. You land the death sentence, you land the chain of corruptions, you land everything. So far, CES is assembling this single target heaven sort of a composition. SLG is doing the big opposite, right? They're doing for big team fight.
They're banning Seraphine here. I think this is the first Seraphine ban because he's going to be against SLG.
At least she already has a presence. I remember Riku saying that I don't care if Karma gets banned just as long as it gets into the game, right? Now Seraphine is already out of the picture. Lee Sin is also banned against Mess. What other junglers do we have for Mess? Does he play Kha'Zix?
He does.
Yes, he does. A lot, actually. And we still have, we don't have Olaf, so definitely Kha'Zix is going to be one in the lineup. But we're looking over for side of SLG. I'm kind of worried for them when it comes to early engagement. How are they going to fight against CS, which is going to be super aggressive here?
Oh, they definitely still have the opportunity, right, to lock in the support, because the support is still missing. Rakan is still open if they want to double down on the knockups, but they're like, we have too many all-ins. Let's go disengage so that we can scare them away if CES goes all in on their single target.
This is, oh well, this is still a team fighting champion, right? When you pick up a Braum, you still have a Glacial Fisher.
Hey!
Hey!
It's your champion!
Yeah!
Singed!
Uh-huh, that's right.
But it's not Shyvana, you don't have to lay it
No,
out.
no, that's okay. Originally, I was a Singed.
Yeah.
I was so excited whenever Singed gets picked, and that's because I also play it a lot. I mean, if you look at my profile, that's my most played champ in the battle line, right? Okay.
Add
Anyway,
him, guys.
I just would like to focus on SLG for a bit because they went back to an original combo in the LeBron, I would say, the Lucian and Braum, easy proc, but. Look at the answer here. It's not just the Singe. They also now have the Radar, the thrill of the hunt, off the Rengar.
Yeah, and I love this Rengar pickup as well, because it could have been interchangeable, Kha'Zix or Rengar. Either way, because this is an all-in composition from CES, without AoE disengage, they have the Lantern for disengage. So I can imagine them diving in, and then you Lantern out after getting a kill under a tower.
It's not just that. They can now also detect as to what the position is like for SLG, and that's actually a very good pick for this lineup. Now they have a Galio. Galio will be able to at least give them more resistances with the Hero's Entrance being available. Such a wombo combo lineup for SLG.
I know, right? The Invisible Monkey going in a 5v5 scenario, follow up with a Hero's Entrance, then boom, all the damage in the world coming from the Xin Zhao. I like the Xin Zhao pick as well because it's blocking out that projectiles with his ult over there on that Xin Zhao versus the Varus. So I like this, but on paper, that's just the one. It's not a double 80 carry comp. There's still a lot of melee, so I'm not sure how the ult can be value on SLG side.
I'm surprised actually one thing that you mentioned about this engagement just now. Graga's still open if I'm not mistaken. They actually didn't pick that one out.
That's surprising. You're right. But for me, this is a cinch in the mid lane, and against the Galio, it's okay. It's not, a losing matchup. They will just, continue to just wave clear with each other. And for me, it's going to be the team fight versus the poke/pick composition.
I like the Braum better because there's 4 melee champions on the side of CES, so it's easy passive, easy stuns.
So you're not going to say the Glacier Fisher is just to disengage and run this time?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you expect the rest of the team from CES to go on you. You use your ult, bam, value.
But the thing is, we have this on the paper. It's a theory that we have in our minds. But we saw that yesterday. Sometimes the thing in the paper kind of hard to execute. But hey, this is going to be the challenge for SLG. Can they actually reach up to the expectations of Riku, or will CERBERUS reign again? Because right now we want to get into the game as soon as we can. And it's about to get heated in the Rift with our 2 squads. Now, let's show it to the casters.
Thank you very much, Choo Choo. We're jumping to this one. Welcome into the WCS SLG. Sorry I had to be up against CERBERUS to start things off, but I'm Brandon. With me here is Omo. We've had a bit of a kerfuffle here in the mid lane, starting this one off.
A kerfuffle? It's definitely one way to put it, Brendan. It's very, very typical of you. It's a kerfuffle in the mid lane, but I would say they're contesting for the wave.
Sure.
Both of these teams want to get that control down early.
And we've seen quite an interesting start from SLG. Right away, game 1, the draft looked quite different from what we were expecting.
Yeah, it's definitely different, and that's what our panel touched on as well, right? What kind of take is this team going to bring in as he's in trouble?
We're going for a quick trade. SLG not the best end of that one.
Well, that's not a take you should bring in. That's not a place you should be positioning in level 1. And this Singed pick, I just want to touch on how brilliant this Singed pick was. My idea is that initially, okay, wait, the trades are just so weird right now from SLG. They need to be a little bit more careful. You need to respect Flying Genza. Genza, one of the best Dragon Laners, one of the best marksmen in Vietnam. And by extension, all of C and Fly alongside him. Definitely a terror as well. Here we go.
Sure, the narrative folds what you have in store for us, but Utopian, caught out mid lane. That's the power of the Singe. BM just runs in, tosses him back.
Brendan, look at me. I am the narrative now.
You are the narrative now. Follow through with it. SLG, DDD wants to trade back, but unfortunately, flash away from Mess gets him back to safety, back to the mid lane.
Early power of the Xin Zhao, we know what he can do. The Rengar's supposed to have a good time against him in this matchup, but still, you blew a lot of spells, your rotations are down, you're about half HP. He knows where you are, he gets the jump, he's of course going to win out on that trade. Now I want to revisit the point about the Singe before we see more kerfuffles, as you put it. This Cinch pick, I think it's pretty brilliant here from the side of CES. I think they initially meant for it to go to the Baron lane, put the Jace in mid lane. But the moment they saw the Galio get locked in, they realized, you know what, we can kind of flex this pick around. We can go both ways with it. Vamos gets caught again.
Yeah, you have to be careful about that fly, laying down damage. Making sure you understand your place here. It's not far forward, it's all the way back to turret.
Respect is the name of the game here from CES. If you don't respect them, you don't respect their picks.
Human with the solo kill. Utopian walks over to assist, but gets caught out by 3 from Cerberus.
Let's go here from Cerberus. Like we said, right, it's a trial by fire. It's baptism in flames here for SLG. You don't respect the picks. You don't respect their power. Cerberus, they're going to teach you some manners.
And we understand that Cerberus are so close to locking in that first slot.
No, they're not close, Grandin. In my mind, they've locked it.
It's a
I told you guys from the start, Cerberus have locked first seed.
It's
you
a
guys
done
just
deal
believe
for
me.
Leda here. No, well, yeah, all right, fair enough, fair enough. I can't argue with the facts. I can't argue with logic.
The facts don't lie.
The facts don't lie. Almost got it.
As always. All right, back to the point at hand here. SLG is looking a little bit dicey for them. You look at the gold, 3K down to 3 minutes, 1,000 gold a minute. It's a typical Vietnam game, isn't it? Look at Fly right now. Look at where Fly is right now.
This is unfun. Watch what happens here. Dive up to the top side. Fly rotates over as well. The initial engage going to be started up by Mez. They jump back out, dodge aggro, walk back in on the turret. The primary Cyclone used. Mez chases after, but is enough to stop them and push them away. Secondary Cyclone uses. He dashes back in with a Nimbus Strike. Just playing under turret, trying to stay alive. I think Human's very close to a solo kill though. Flash away from Genza, dodges away from the Glacial Fissure. Fly running back to the mid lane, escorting his mid lane into safety. Come on, buddy. You had to back off.
Come on!
Oh no! He lives!
Okay.
The auto attack wasn't there! He didn't have the shot blast!
So I was going to start this one off by saying it's a bit of a misplay there from Godfrey in it. He could have just gone for the spin the moment the Rengar jumped him, tried to juggle turret aggro, but you know what? It all doesn't matter because he survives 3-man ganked.
In it? Is this because an Oceanic team?
You gotta wrap him. You gotta wrap him in any way you can,
You gotta
right?
wrap them, basically, spiritually.
Spiritually, yeah. I mean, Skimmy might not be here casting this one, but I set the in it for him, so we're good,
Absolutely,
isn't it?
We're done. We're basically,
I'm back to isn't it, if you didn't notice.
We're set and good to go. Well, objectives are spawned up at the map. CES is going to make their way over the Dragon first. Reptile started up by SLG, but we have Human hovering by the side, getting them information. So CS running rushing over to contest this.
This man just staunching them 1-on-4 right now. The rotation's coming in. Rift Herald, it's not going to be killed in time.
Yeah, it's not going down fast enough. 4,000 HP still. Fly runs over. Garvey going to use his clone. We're looking for the death sentence.
Okay.
He holds it. He knows that they're going to position around the back.
Young one. Well then, they just... Okay.
Wait, we don't... That's fine, that's fine.
I think just walk in and pick it up then. All right, cool. We take those.
Anything could have taken that.
Is there something to be said here about like Australian trade policy, something about ScoMo, something?
I have no idea.
We're not going to go into that?
I have no idea what that even entails.
I
have no idea what that even entails.
All right then, mid-tier 1 turret drops 5 minutes into the game. Dragon picked up 4-0. Perfect game so far by Cerberus. The perfect
gold lead,
team. The perfect team, Cerberus. At least in players.
At least in players.
We'll see them tested a little bit more on the main stage because that's where they're going to go if they win this one. That's where they're going to go if they get the 3 points here.
I mean, it's basically a deadlock between 2nd, 3rd, and 4th seed, right? Yeah. But Cerberus are way far and above over everyone else.
And you know what's interesting about this one, right? So, Aurora, a bit aggressive here.
About to maybe take away the chance for a perfect game. Fly is going to dash in with the Protopel aggressive, showcasing exactly why the Vietnamese region is as good as it is. Unfortunately, Genza falls instead. Mez looking to reset by the eyebrush in mid lane.
Vamos,
he wants to try and jump back in. Vamos over on the other end, flashing away. Wow, Win becomes lightning, tags the Rengar again. CS, an interesting exchange mid.
Yeah, I think
the perfect team. I just wanna coach you on that. The perfect team, Momo.
You know, Costa's curse. You know, it's a very real thing. CES, they decided we're gonna have a bit of fun there. Fly, he gets jumped 2-on-1. He decides, you know what? I'm gonna put a belt in. I'm gonna flay you to me, and we're gonna try to keep the fight here going. But his teammates not quite in position. That one backfires on them a little bit.
You know, generally, Castle's curse is like something that you say, and then like overall the effects don't happen. But yours is like
happen.
No, yeah, I'm sorry. The overall the effects happen, but over like a longer course.
Yes.
Yours is like you ship it immediately, set over, they feel it. Like the universe makes them do things they would have never done. Look at a testimony from Mess
I just told you. Look at me. I am the narrative now. I just told you what's gonna happen.
Fight happens down bot side again. Fly's gonna get caught out. The Chains of Corruption gonna set up, give them the initial engage back onto Vamos. Flash away from Aurora. They have to back off, back on the turret.
Fancy feet there. Granted, I wanted to address something. Did you just say Vamos?
Vamos.
It's Vamos. Yeah, you said
Vamos.
Vamos.
Vamos,
I'm gonna tell
Vamos.
Rafa about this one.
Oh.
Gonna get some correction there on your Spanish.
I'll take it though.
I do want to point out right now, though, the game state, it's still in full control from CES. A little bit of slip-ups here and there. They made some mistakes. They gave over a kill. No more perfect game, but that's okay. 7 minutes in, it's still 1,000 gold a minute.
Just trying to establish that line of control.
Yeah.
They've got those two turrets. The third turret in the bot side going to go down, giving them more control towards the jungle. Not as if they didn't already have it, just expands it even more.
And back to the point I was trying to make earlier as well about the Singe maybe being a flex pick. Maybe CES intended for that one to go to the Baron lane because Wukong is in theory a counter to Jace. You want to dodge that matchup, but it doesn't matter because CES, well, look at this first.
Catching the mid lane, BMM with a very nice W there used to keep them in place. The Ignite gonna burn down. The Shock Blast to finish off the kill.
Yeah, I mean, I should have known they wouldn't let me talk, right? But the main point I was trying to make there is this matchup is in theory supposed to be a counter. Wukong punishes Jace because you constantly get on top of him. He cannot kite you. But it doesn't matter because CES, a Vietnamese team, Hubon, one of the best Baron laners, they understand how to play around the Jace. They understand how to enable the Jace. Move your team up. Give them priority. Give him the lead. And you see GodV now he's just getting pressured. 2,000 gold down. It's going to be a very hard time for this monkey. He's going to come into team fights. He's going to spin. He's got the Sunderer, sure, but he's going to get popped out. CES, they're in full control. The poke come in full effect.
All right, Dragon's back up now. SLG, I think, in a tough spot. Want to try and contest this if they can, but it's going to be difficult. Maybe make it a little bit painful. Find some value elsewhere across the map as CES pose themselves in prime position to pick up the Dragon themselves. Fly going to step forward. Initial ward going to get spotted out. They're covering the side of the river, trying to get into the fight. Initiation started up by DDD. They try and chase in. Dragon goes over the mess in the meantime. So they're just fighting for the sake of it at this point. Really trying to punish CS where they can. Find this first kill on the fly. Over by the back. They still have to worry about Mess jumping back in. Vamos is gone. And that's SLG fighting a lost battle. Trading back just barely here, but it's still too much to deal with.
Look at BMM, look at Mass, look at Hubon. SLG, they just committed one of the cardinal sins of League of Legends, of Wild Rift. Do you know what that is, Grandin?
What is that?
Don't chase the Singe, man. They ran all the way into the tier 1 turret, trying to chase down BMM. He has the Rylai Scepter. He makes it so hard for you to chase him. And while all this is going on, look at the main team here for SLG. They run down. But CERBERUS, they recognize that now you are isolated. Now Vamos, he has nowhere to run. We kill your backline before you kill ours. And BMM, he pops the glory, he runs right back in. Him and Mass, they just clean house.
All right. Generally, I kind of play you down a little bit, Omo, but I like that one. I like that one.
Okay, nice, let's do it.
Don't chase Singe, that's good.
Leandri's Torment coming up as well. Once that one's completed, the quote-unquote tanky boys here from SLG gonna be much less tanky.
Second Rift out also for CES. It just looks like they have so much tempo in this game. This game looks like a sealed one for CES. So let's start thinking about what happens next. The SLG gave us a very action-packed first 10 minutes of this game.
Did they give us action-packed 10 minutes, or
Absolutely.
did they not have a choice?
Well,
did CERBERUS give us an action-packed 10 minutes?
Maybe it's
well, here we
CERBERUS.
go.
Let's take a look at how this happens. SLG willingly picking up a fight. Glacial Fissure comes in. Hubon jumps back in with the hammer form. Tries to set up for the rest of his team. Nice crowd control
Singe
coming
is
through,
here.
but it's Genza taken out first, but they trade back with a bot lane duel from SLG. Tossed over your shoulder. It's BMM running laps around you. The slipstream giving him the move speed. I mean, it looks so
you can't even
sad.
kill
You
Fly.
can't walk.
You do kill Fly in the end. You do kill Genza in the end. But here we go,
He's
BMM.
rushing down. What are we watching? This is a wild red. This is a race car.
He didn't get it. Yeah, I mean, I thought the Grand Prix wasn't supposed to start until 9 p.m., but I guess here we are.
I feel bad that you know this.
I do know this. I'm getting ready to watch. We have to have a fast day here today so I can go back and watch the Grand Prix.
Let's take a look at a replay on how that fight broke out. I mean, initially it starts off with SLG.
It's a 3-on-4, Grandin.
I mean, SLG love to pick fights as well. You can't deny that.
You're reaching, you're grasping for straws here.
They started the fight, Omo.
You, just like SLG, are grasping for straws, trying to find whatever you can. That's basically why they have to fight. They recognize, all right, you've got two people chasing GodV. Your Ranga, your Singe. They're down in the bot lane trying to chase my Wukong. While this is happening, we have to try to force and engage, but it doesn't matter. Look at Fly, is he gonna put about forward again?
Oh, I love this, I love this. See a guy, jump on guy. That's all DDD does. He goes in, he sees the guy, and he's like, yep, I'm gonna fight this.
Yeah, and I gotta be honest with you here. Vamos' performance, Vamos has not had a great time here. I was told that Vamos was supposed to be the GOAT of OCE Wild Rift, but I don't know, this is not it. It's more like the sheep right now.
Well,
the lamb to the slaughter, if you will.
There we go. One more time.
Ooh, so close.
Doesn't get to happen though, but
it's just a for fun hook, you know.
It's just a for fun hook.
It really is.
Try to test just try to estimate range, right? It's like the jam.
This is
Trying to figure
basically
out
sandbox
distance.
for CES at this point. I mean, SLG, it's a rough start.
But we kind of expected this. We knew this was going to happen. This was the setup that SLG walked into.
But look at this. Do you see how close he was to getting that solo kill? 3,000 go up for Reborn. He has a Howlbreaker, makes him exceptional in the 1v1, and Godfrey still got so close to solo killing him. That's supposed to be the nature of the matchup. I'm not talking about this. This doesn't matter, granted.
Unfortunately, Omo, I think the game is about to end. They're just walking into the base. I don't even see SLG get to go back in. Recalls or not, there's really no counterplay left available for them. They're going to try their best to stay alive at this point. DD walking in against BMM, but BMM kites him, just walks around the slipstream.
Just having a little bit of fun here, aren't we, on the side of Cerberus? They know they're in full control. They know they have this game in the bag. They're just going to seal this one off. 12 minutes in game. They've broken 2 inhibitors. They're going for it. Dragon is up. But you know what? I don't think they care. They don't need a third dragon. They can get a third inhibitor and end the game.
Sure, fair enough. I mean, they want to play a little bit slower.
It's a bit unfortunate here. It's a really tough situation. And SLG, you can't really fault them entirely as well. They just flew in. They're facing the toughest team here. I said the best team here in the form of Cerberus. Maybe, you know, I would say the top 3 in the entire finals.
Yeah, and I don't want to discount SLG too much here because
they made valiant attempts.
They made good attempts, and this is a composition that does well early on, right? Early to mid game, this is when they're strongest, but now they've kind of gone past exploration.
Look at BMM.
SLG is still looking to commit to a fight. BMM is going to run laps around them. Utopian tries to dive into the back line. Vamos just cannot play. BMM's over by the back. Mess is joining in with him. They run in. The Rengar picks up a double kill. It looks so good for Mess as he dives back and forth. CES finds the triple kill, gets the ace, and they're going to run straight down and close out game 1.
I think this is the fastest game we've had, granted.
This very well could be.
It very well should be. 14 minutes? Have we seen a game this quick?
CES with the 14-minute win, pre-14-minute win against SLG in our Best of 2 series.
And unfortunately to say, it kind of is what we expected, right? Maybe the best team here in play-ins, one of the best teams in the entire C Finals, playing against one of the newest, youngest, freshest representatives from the OCE region. Sure, they dominated their region, but still, it's a whole different ballgame when you come to regionals, when you come to international.
This is first contact again.
First encounters?
First encounters. SLG is like, man, all this has been going on. The WCS has been going on, and it's been such a difficult task to bring them into the competition. Now we finally get to have them in.
So I would like to ask you, Brendan, I know you're saying crossing the pond, right? When you say that, that normally means, you know, America,
from America to Europe.
Yeah. But can you say OCE team has crossed the pond here to SEA?
I think we need.
You know what? I'm gonna say it anyway. They crossed the pond here. Welcome.
I think we have to find a different word for it. But I mean, it's a great win for CES. Nothing too unexpected here for SLG. It's really such an important thing because in previous competition as well for the C Championships, we wanted to get them in. We wanted to bring them into the WCS the C Championships at that time. They couldn't make it. Right now we have this version of SLG joining us here finally, giving the Oceanic region some representation.
And of course, we got to keep in mind as well, it's their first game here on the big stage. It's the first game of the entire region on the Wild Rift big stage as well. Maybe some nerves, maybe some jitters. I like that they were still trying to find fights despite it being extremely difficult for them to do. Hopefully in game 2 we see a bit more life from them, but honestly, I'll be real with you here. Going up against a team like Cerberus, it's difficult.
Here's the thing, Omo, they do have 2 games today. There's a chance afterwards to pick up more momentum and more steam. Well, that was an incredible game 1 from Cerberus. Let's see what else they have in store for us as we go into game 2. But before that, we're going to toss it back over to the panel to break down that game 1.
Phew. I'm like, ugh. I don't know how to feel about that. This is possibly what Smash Logic Gaming feels right now with that first Best of 2 series. And they're being smashed. Logically speaking, Smash Logic Gaming. For our panelists here, well, okay, very positive. Mine is very different. But hey, Riku, what's the reason for the clap, though?
I'm clapping for Cerberus. I mean, we voted 2-0. It wasn't exactly like the cleanest game, but you could tell like BMM was having fun, like running around as a Singe. So clap, 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 clap.
And for me, this could actually go 2 ways, like, and then flip it over.
Oh wow!
No. So you actually have a thumbs
burn.
up. Yeah, a thumbs up for Cerberus because now they are 1 game away from locking the first seed. After today, or if they win this, they have a point total of 9 points already. And I believe the maximum point total for FENNEL University, who is at second place right now, is 8 points. So
They can't catch up.
yeah, they can't catch up. So that means that after game number 2, if they end up winning, they will be going straight to the playoffs. And for SLG, I have to give a thumbs down. Again, expectations are not really that high for them. However, I kind of wanted them to at least bring more fire. And the draft itself, yeah, it's okay. I love the point of Omo. Wukong is actually a direct counter to Jace on one extent, just because it allows you to be face-to-face against the Jace. But he's still one of the most powerful champions that we have here. As long as you know that he's going to use his decoy, you could actually just have an infinite value when it comes to trading in the laning phase.
Yeah, speaking of trading, unfortunately the bottom lane of SLG couldn't trade because they were basically outranged by the Varus versus the Lucian. And the composition of SLG required them to transition safely into the mid game because their composition is 5v5. And when they transition to mid game, the rest of CS already got solo kills or the skirmishes down.
I think the first blood was the Singe being able to fling over one person in the mid lane. I believe it was Utopium. And that's the welcoming party for Southeast Asia, right? This is the region in where we play those Baron laners in the mid lane and make it work. This Singe pick, as much as I would, love to say that, I'm a Singe player myself, I would love to give my hats off to BMM because he was felt from minute 1 up until minute 14.
And also, I think that's one of the fastest game we actually witnessed just now. It was less than 15 minutes and it's done. I think it's pretty much over the moment you saw sort of 4 minutes in and we saw a 4K goal difference already, Riku.
Yeah, Omo even mentioned, CES was garnering 1K a minute. They were literally not only farming minions, but unfortunately farming champions before the mid game came. And that's the reason why SLG had a very, very hard time.
I think what's the biggest problem coming out from SLG, honestly, starting from Odolus first?
Mechanics, firsthand, because then again, I mean, how are you able to transition into your macro if you are being out-microed by your opponent, right? From the get-go, we saw, him being extended, possibly in OSE, it's not going to be punished right away. But the aggressiveness of Southeast Asia, CERBERUS as a whole, minute number 2, fling over, first blood.
Oh man, I kind of worry about that. Is it because the, comfort champs being banned out? Why didn't expect that kind of draft happening out from CERBERUS? You mentioned about the chase straight on. It was straight on point, that one. Didn't see that one coming, do they?
Honestly, I really love the bans because they banned out the Ziggs. They banned out basically champions that would slow down the 2v2, that would basically negate the 2v2. So it's basically like, let's remove our swords, our guns. Let's fight fist to fist. That's exactly what they did in the draft, and I love it. They picked Lucian, SLG. I'm gonna pick one of the strongest early game champions in the game at the moment, but the response of CES was so beautiful because I'll just outrange you in the 2v2. We're gonna be fine.
It's not just that. Remember, we talked about Fly a lot, right? Even before day 1 started, and we have identified his best champion being the Thresh. Remember what happened in the laning phase? They were forced under the tower, and there will always be the threat of the death sentence. And remember, his accuracy is just godly.
I have to agree. Every engaging support, it can be fly by fly. So it's just, it matters of how they actually can counter pick at first. We saw how SLG, their draft was not really, they tried to counter at first, but like I mentioned earlier, they have the idea, but can they execute it on their side? It's really kind of a far-fetched here, Riku.
I have a feeling the draft could have worked if maybe they picked the AD character, since they're playing around Vamos, right? The composition that they have is only Vamos is going to deal the significant amount of damage that they needed. So maybe if they waited a little bit, see if they can counter instead of picking the Lucian first, they'll have a little bit of that wiggle room to get that comfortable lane that they want for Vamos. I mean, there was an opportunity as well because I feel like that comp was also so perfect for something like a Vayne, something that scales in the later stages of the game, but they needed something to slow down the pace as well. So I don't know, maybe in the second game, pick Vamos as champion later into the draft.
Yeah, if they get to switch over to the blue side, at least you get that first pick, right? You could prioritize those champions that could really slow down CERBERUS, because so far, the tempo of CERBERUS, it feels to me that they own the Wild Rift map from minute 1 up until minute 14. Like 75% of the map is theirs from the get-go.
And we can see they're not really actually trying to all out there for Cerberus as well. It feels like very ease into it and really easy going, easy breezy for them for that win. But hey, maybe from that kind of, we talk about the time of their draft, they know they're centralized based on Vamos' performance. So I think it's a bit early when they take out on Lucian for that one. But maybe this time they learn a bit of that lesson and know how to ban and when to ban Jace, especially. And definitely, if you think that chances are, is there any way for SLG to kind of get around Cerberus here, Riku?
Okay, I think they're on the right path, like banning out the Camille. I think the Jace is also very important. Just ban out things that can easily solo kill you or unlock any 1-4-1, 1-4 or 1-3-1. I think that would be one of the best angles. Since they want to fight 5v5, force them into a 5v5 competition and do it better.
I would love to see them ban the Thresh, because that really was the problem for Vamos, right? If the laning phase isn't okay for Vamos, then your star player is now being boxed in and is now being caged in a box, and he's not going to be able to perform well to his standards. So bring out or take out that element, that threat from Fly, and go for something else.
Well, if they want to go for disengagement just now, there's also Lulu did ban out, if I'm not mistaken. There's also Gragas. There's so many options that they didn't try to, you know, what if... We do know, coming out from Vietnam region, just so aggressive in the early game. They got, what, 2-3 ignites straight from off the bat because they want to just dive into the turret and get the first hero and just finish up as fast as they can. But right now, what SLG is just giving it so much for free.
Lulu, I think, would be a better pair when there's an Olaf, when there's a hyper-scaling champion like a Kai'Sa or a Vayne. And as well as the Gragas, maybe the Gragas was... I feel like that was a Yasuo comp. You know, seeing the Wukong, and if you pick up the Gragas, I felt like that was a perfect fit for the Yasuo. At least you have that... It's still big. You have that activator, you still have that big 5v5, and you also have scaling. So at that point, it's still, you know, this is a team that still plays around Vamos. So I totally understand why it was the Galio in the mid lane. It's safe. It's a safe pick to flex. And you can just combo it with the Wukong once he dives in.
We gave them a lot of ideas here, definitely. Hopefully they can actually, for once, try to consider that for this sake. And Odolus, what are we looking here right now?
Yeah, what I love about game number 1 was the amount of respect Cerberus was willing to give to Smash Logic Gaming by banning the Seraphine second rotation. That means that they did their homework,
of respect,
right? And they're treating this game as if it's just the same game that will bring them over to glory. So Cerberus Esports' first ban right now will be the Senna.
Hey, SLG, they're respecting on the side of SES as well. The Jace is out here.
Oh, yes. I like it. I like it. Force them. We talked about force them into 5v5s once more. Graves. Okay, okay. I see the logic in this, though, because they want to remove some of the carry junglers.
That has been banned away. So
Olaf's
this is
open.
Yeah, Olaf is open. Possibly even Gragas or a Galio priority from CES.
Don't pick Ziggs.
Ziggs, yeah. I was thinking
Ziggs.
about Ziggs as well.
Y'all want to fight. Don't pick Ziggs.
She's very cute, but she's so aggressive. She just wants fights all the way.
And that little sister that, you know.
But hey, maybe they're gonna pick Olaf first.
Yeah,
so.
Olaf.
Fight! Yeah, that's definitely... Okay, so now CS can actually pick Seraphine as well, unless CLG picks it early to deny any sort of enabler for that Olaf.
Lulu
There's still
is
that
open,
Lulu.
though.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
So this could potentially be a Lulu plus Olaf, depending on SLG's draft here. What I'm scared about, though, is if they... Ooh, this is an Irelia that I believe Godby really plays in the Baron lane so well. But the question, again, remains, if they're going to pick the Lulu here, they will be very vulnerable to the Thresh of Fly that is still open.
Yeah, that's going to be a little bit worrisome. They're going all melee here,
wow.
and that's... You're going to be happy as an Olaf, right? Because everybody's going near you, and you're just going to be fine hack and slashing, basically.
Right.
All the 2 melee champions that you see so far. He's going to be CC free with a Ragnarok as well. So what will enable him? Seraphine, Lulu, we talked about this before, but who else will be able to get that on the board for the AD carry? Do you want to slow the game? Please don't pick Ziggs. I don't want to see a Ziggs
wow.
like, yes, Rakan, it's fight.
Yeah, because this is all about zone control for SLG, right? If you are on a choke point, Irelia's ultimate plus Riven's ultimate, it's infinite amount of damage. Now Cerberus Esports just wants to fight, as you said. You know, having that Olaf, having that Rakan, and having that Renekton, that just means that if ever we face on that choke point, that will be like a boxing ring, and you will be caged like an octagon.
Exactly. They're removing all their weapons. They're going for a fist fight here. Look at that Akali lock-in. So this is basically a mechanics-heavy game for CLG so far with their 3 picks. Quite similar to CES with the maybe the Renekton, Rakan, Olaf. Not really. You press Ragnarok and you just auto-attack.
I love this. I love this. What does this remind you? This is
Singe ban.
Singe ban.
Up to that
but
point.
yes, I just would like to emphasize
What
on
do
this.
I have?
This looks like an RRQ draft. Remember,
Oh!
like, you have the Akali, you have the Riven, you have the Irelia that can actually be flexed around 3 possible lanes. You have the jungle, Baron, and the mid lane here. You're not really revealing that much. So with what's happening right now, CES figured that, hey, you know what's up? We have to ban another zone control and the Gallia, and they did just that.
This is really lovely from CES because what CLG is lacking, they have the damage, they have everything except engage. They're gonna have a big problem if they don't have Rakan, they don't have Galio, they don't have Set. They're not there. They need a tanky engaged champion, and CES just removed everything from CLG.
How about this crank? Let's see.
Not
Really?
an AoE though, it's a single target, but I see it.
But he's fast. At least he's fast now, so yeah, okay.
You're down to enchanters. What, you're gonna pick Seraphine against a melee composition? This is gonna be scary.
I'm okay with a Lucian Nami.
Yeah,
at
there
least.
you go.
There you go. There's a Seraphine. As requested here, is this going to be a Sona Seraphine composition?
This could be because you have the damage. You just need to keep them alive. You have additional shielding. You have the necessary
Lulu.
kit to catch up with everybody diving in.
Is this a Rakan mid?
This could be Rakan mid.
Yeah.
And a Lulu support. Oh, they have a different idea. They have a cannon. Slicing Maelstrom, boom, boom, boom. You're a melee comp. We're just gonna encircle you, wrap around you with the stuns and everything and all the damage in the world. I love this from CES.
This is more like, you know, I talked about an octagon, right? And a cage match. Now, you know, bring electricity onto it and basically you just cannot go out. And that's a Sona Seraphine composition. Now, it begs the question, do we go for Grievous items right away or do we just go for a burst? For me, I love the burst over Grievous runes.
Oh yeah, I think it's highly possible. But at this point, they do have early game damage to supplement that with a Renekton and the Olaf. They have the engage. They have that inconsistent range damage. They have double engage actually with Rakan and Kennen. So this is the perfect formula against a melee composition that wants to stick with you as much as they can.
I'm okay with Kennen not engaging though, but rather disengaging or possibly counter-engaging. You wait for them to come in.
That's
and
true.
Then just pop your ultimate and it will disrupt your tempo. Is this true? Are we going to see Vamos as an Akali in the Dragon? I don't think so. It could possibly be just a role swap between Utopian and Vamos, and Vamos will be, you know what? I'm going to carry you to the promised land, and I'll pick this Akali and play the mid lane.
Well, the thing is, everything, can they actually go against our logic if SLG actually won? Because we do know Cerberus is very strong at this rate with this kind of team comp, but let's not waste any more time. Let's just go straight into the rift with our casters.
Game 2 coming your way in Cerberus bearing the fangs at SLG. 1 up. I'm Grandin. With me here is Omo. Let's take a look at how this one plays out. SLG on the back foot to start this one off. So they pulled out the big guns. They've gone for the Seraphine Sona.
Are they big guns though?
And like 3 different mechanically intensive champions.
It might not be the big guns, but it's definitely the guns they're trained with. Now, Vamos swapping over, most likely going to be playing mid. We're going to see very likely Utopium moving down to the bottom lane, Dragon lane position. A really faster flash from level 1, by the way.
They love to go for this. They love to try and try to get some control in the mid lane, walk over, try and set up for themselves, get some pressure going. And it does look like it's going to be a roll swamp, so they send the Akali mid, pretty much as we expected here.
We got to talk about the draft a little bit right now. We talked about SLG's comp, how they've got the bruisers. Is he in trouble? I think he's good.
No, I think you can keep going with your point, Omo.
He's pretty tanky, though.
You can keep talking.
I mean, he's not pretty tanky, though. But yeah, the main point is these are the big guns in the sense that it's the comp fit here for SLG, right? We talked about God, V's, Irelia. We talked about the Sona, Seraphine team comp. Vamos now having the tools to carry. Things look good for SLG. But CES, they have the answers. They have the answers in the right places. Renekton, Olaf into the dive comp, Kennen to just stop everything. And Vayne is going to have a field day against these champions who want to dive at you. You have a lot of outplay potential. Genza and Fly, they have the tools to succeed. In fact, everyone on the side of CES does.
But it's not as clear-cut, not as easy to engage. I say that, but he just jump on
he
BMM.
messed up.
BMM flashes away under turret. Well, the Undertow comes in, connects, but he gets first blood, the 5-point strike either way. Undertow
both dead,
chases
by the
after a DDD, but Mess will clean up with a reckless swing for the double kill.
Yeah, I mean, it's just Olaf things, right? You dive so hard into a Renekton. I feel like BMM did kind of mess up his initial slice. He was trying to bait the fight for Mass. I get the rationale there, but the problem is you need to play it a little bit more cautious. Slice and dice another direction, maybe to Mass. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. The Olaf gets 2 kills, and you look at the team comp here on the side of SLG. Irelia, Riven, maybe not
Really?
Akali, but Irelia, Riven. They want
A minute, 50 seconds
Okay,
in.
let's see.
Cerberus
It
making the
works.
dive, gets the double knock-up, the reckless swing on the toe for the killing spree onto Mess. He finds the second, puts that on Genza. They're happy about that one, Omo.
They are delighted about that one. Mass 100% KP, gets the double mid, runs down bot, picks up 2 kills, even gives one over to Genza, because why not? You know why that worked, Grandin? Couple of reasons there.
They walked
Utopia-
into the 2-man knock-up.
I mean, sure, that's number 1, right? But number 2, Utopian Blue Flash at level 1. Number 3, they're so squishy. Look at the bot lane. Look at who the matchup is. It's Sona, Seraphine, 2 of the squishiest champions in the game. They don't have heal. What's this? He's dead.
Well, trying to play for that. Oh! Dodges away from the knock-up.
So very close there. Vamos gets away, and good timing from Fly on the reset to come in, get his mid laner out of dodge. They have very good presence of mind, good fundamentals from the side of CES, what we expect from them. Back to the initial point. Guess not. No
You
point
wanna
to be
talk?
made.
You
No
wanna
point
talk
to be made.
in a Cerberus game?
Maybe I should keep talking so CES keep fighting.
Just ignore it. Just keep talking whenever you
Nice
feel like it. I
play.
mean, Fly intercepts
Yeah, not really
the challenges
much
from
you
the
can do
Riven.
there, Yeah, okay. Let me finish this off before they fight again, please. Never mind, Mass is gonna fight. Just keep talking, Brendan.
No, I'm just gonna keep talking. I don't think there's
He
anything
shows,
else.
he shows.
He just walks up. I don't even think he needs to do anything. He just
He's
wants.
just
He just
chilling.
wants to camp. He just
He
wants
got
to
it,
camp.
he got it,
He
it's all
gets
it
it.
is,
That's
yeah.
all good.
Okay. Can I
Give
do it now?
resets.
Can I do it now? Sona Seraphine is so squishy. They don't have barrier. They don't have heal. It's a one-shot, basically. Done. Point done. Over. Go fight now.
They're training you to be more snappy with your points.
That was very snappy, Grandin.
That
I
was
cleared
very
it in
snappy.
10
But I
seconds.
want to point something out, right?
Yeah.
You said you had point 1, which was the
I
fact
made
that you
3 points.
You made point 1 Utopian. I can't.
Brendan, stop trying to make points.
I can't make my point.
There are no points to be made.
There are no points. It's just kill, just action. Cerberus demonstrate that to us entirely, fully. A rampage from Mess as SLG responded bottom side, but no re-engage available. Ragnarok used mains Mess as the vulnerable target, executed and finished off by Vamos. Genza trying to kite back, applies the silver boats, but SLG forced them off the turret.
Yeah, CS sent a message there. We dive you between tier 2 turrets. 3 minutes in game before the first spawn even comes in. Just full domination from this team, and that was my gripe with the Sona Seraphine bot lane. That was my concern all along. I know it sounds like hindsight 2020, but I always felt that when you play this lane against stronger opponents who know how to stack waves, who know how to dive you with their mid jungle, who know how to trade better in lane, it makes it so difficult because your lane is so squishy, you don't have the crowd control early on. It's so easy to just bully you, and CES are doing just that.
Objective spawn up now, so they get to stop playing around that. We're gonna see Hublin flash away, dodge out from Gavi, but the Gavi dives on the turret, trades back for 1. I'm not sure that's so worthwhile.
No, you take that. You take that here on the side of GotV because you need to get whatever you can at this point. And this matchup, that's something which is a bit curious to me. Why did you pick the cannon into the Irelia?
No, it's okay. You can keep talking.
I'm just so scared to keep talking now.
Just keep talking. It's all right. Keep talking.
Yeah, because it's supposed to be a counter pick. I assume they... How did that happen? Oh, okay, that's
Nothing
dirty.
happened.
That's gross right there. That's gross right. That's a mental breaker right there from BMM.
Utopian has to feel a little bit rough about that one. They
Yeah.
trade back in the mid lane.
Oh,
Fog's execution caught out and pulled by the charm, and even as he dashes back onto Fly, will
a
get
rough start,
intercepted
isn't
by the
it?
silver bolts.
It's a real rough start here from SLG. They're just getting outplayed at every step of the way. The fundamentals, the mechanics, everything CS just does it better because they are the best team here. I can't keep saying that. SLG, it's going to be a rough start to the day from them. We'll have to see later on if they can adjust their mental. Good thing is they have a game's break. And with this, I do believe it's very likely that CES will just lock it. You know what? Not very likely. I'm just going to say it. CES have basically locked themselves into the main stage. Maybe looking for a rematch with Team Flash. Why are you laughing?
No, we talked about the Labors versus like Cerberus, like Hercules and everything. I feel like Cerberus, like this is like final boss version.
Cerberus is supposed to be the final boss,
This
isn't
is the final boss.
he? He is supposed to be the final boss.
So why are they fighting final boss? They just got here.
Yeah, I mean, bad luck, man.
toss in the ring before you're ready. I think SLG have some opportunity with the rest of the opponents. I mean, looking better than I've expected, especially in an echo chamber. We don't see very much from them.
Brandon, that's the thing, right? Why do games and movies, media, why do they always let the young hero always fight the weaker things first? Why do they let them get experience level up? Why not toss them right into the final boss? Get that out of the way.
Because they get slaughtered.
Yeah. That's reality. That's what's happening to SLG right now.
SLG caught out once again. Aurora falls here. Genza picks up a killing spree for himself. Happy about this one overall. Unfortunately, they missed out the chance for a perfect game, but I don't think they worry too much about that.
They missed a chance for a perfect game like 6 minutes ago, Grandin. Why are you bringing that up now? Rift Herald gonna get picked up here from the side of Cerberus. You're gonna see a bit of a engage. I'm the play-by-play now, I guess.
Take over.
All right, let's go! They get the kill into Godfrey. Nothing can do there. Rift Herald comes down. That's going to be mid-tier 1. Let's see how far they can take this.
Yeah, so mid-tier 1 is really good here because it opens up the map for them even more.
No, I mean, it's just a bit unfortunate here from SLG. I feel painful. I'm sorry.
Well, Genza finishes off another kill. Another one picked up a Human as well. So a little bit more collected by the side in the jungle. Unfortunately, almost couldn't pick up the player-by-player. There's a bit too much going on.
Watch me. Next team fight.
Well, next team fight. Next team fight. As Cerberus open up with another turret. Not as fast-paced as last game, I think, when the turret pickups. But in terms of everything else, because now
they're not picking up turrets because they're picking up kills.
Exactly. They're distracted. They've been lured away. There's the carrot on the stick, and just walking into the
Cerberus is a three-headed dog, right? So it's very easy to lure him away, I would assume.
You need to get just one hit's attention.
Yeah, and then he pulls the rest away.
He pulls the others.
Why are you making it sound like a Disney movie right now? Alright, BMM, can you find a stun here?
Alright, there you go.
Oh, I'm taking this one, right? Alright, Rakan comes in, they get the stun, they chain into the knockup, he gets away though, Vamos so clean. The charm comes in, do they have the damage? Not quite, they do. They take down Mass with the flash up as well. How hard is play-by-play, honestly?
You called it.
It's kind of easy, isn't it?
You called it alright, but I mean, you said they didn't have damage to finish off Mass. They clearly did. Ragnar was used.
Brandon, you say wrong things
Genza
all
now
the
tries to
time.
run in, starts to lead this one up. Fly for a beautiful jump, the crescendo, back to try and stall the engagement CES, but it's really just a cleanup now.
Goodness.
Cerberus finishes 3 up on the top side.
It's a bit of a clinic going on here from the side of Cerberus. It's rough to watch. Vamos, he's trying to run away. Where can he really go? Fly might just get the solo bolo on him, honestly.
Well, we'll see how much work the turrets can do. I think he's trying to give it over to Mess. I think Mess is trying to run over.
Vamos gets away. I'm pretty sure Vamos gets away.
Undertow. One more undertow. He knows where he is.
Oh, he messed up. He ate the glory.
Oh, he's trying to run away now. He has that.
No,
he used the shuriken flip. It's on the turret. There's no way
The
to go.
problem was he ate the Righteous Glory. If he didn't eat the Righteous Glory, he spaced to the edge of the ring, he would have gotten out. I would have lived there.
You would have lived there.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, in this case, they don't. SLG get to recoup a little bit.
Do they?
Yeah, a little bit.
Given how the game state has been, it's a bit of a breather. I'll give you that one.
Yeah, exactly. We're finding some space now. We finally get a chance to talk a little bit.
Nah, I'm good. I don't really have much to talk about.
How's your day?
Well, our next matchup is gonna be 1 and EVOS. That's gonna be fire. Because Grennan, you think about it, right? Did you put 1 and EVOS to get out of group? You did, right?
Yeah, I did.
Well,
and it's looking like neither of them are gonna.
exactly. So next match is gonna be so fun for me to watch because I'm just gonna rub it in the whole time. All right, Dragon fight. Let's go. 5v5.
Try to go for a setup. SLG has to
Oh
worry
my
about
God,
Fly
Fly.
coming in for the pack. Finishes off Utopium. I don't think there's much gameplay to be had here. Vanguard's edge will make a difference initially, but now with Genza chasing after Crescendo, slows them down for a second, but he flashes in, gets caught by the Flawless Duet. Either way, has enough damage to kill them off. Vamos is trying to make a play, but gives the Quadra kill over. No Penta though. But welcome to the WCS.
Hey, that's my analysis. Back to you.
Oh yeah, thank you very much. Well, so what happened there was he used his tumble, right, and that gives him invisibility.
Grennan, stick to play-by-play.
And then he gets additional movement speed, so he runs faster to get kills.
Quadra kill there, or was that a triple kill for Genza?
That was a quadra kill.
Yeah, I mean, it's just amazing from Fly, right? Where did he come from? We don't know. But look at the double flank, right? Fly is the first layer. He's the first flank. Second flank comes in. You've got BMM here on this Renekton. I think you could have maybe mechanics that one a little bit better. Maybe I get a triple kill there. But all good. Still, you hand over the Quadra to the Vayne. And like you said, he uses the tumble. He moves so fast, right? And he gets the Quadra.
Did you know that Silver Bolts gives you additional attack speed?
Oh, you know, when I play Vayne and Wild Rift, I actually didn't know your W had active.
See, there we go. I'm teaching you.
I mean, I found out after, but I actually didn't know that was the thing.
And it gives you additional attack speed as well. So it's not just like the additional damage from the Silver Bolts. It upgrades your Silver Bolts and it gives you additional attack
Doesn't matter, I just know hit harder. That's all
okay,
you
all right.
Press W when you want to hit harder.
All right, fair enough. I'll take that.
Monkey brain.
I'll take that. Well, trying to execute on a pretty difficult comp. I think SLG here has something interesting, right? They went for a bigger play. I'm just going to ignore this because I think there's not that much consequence that's going to happen for this. But they try to go for a bigger play. They try to execute with more difficult
it's
champions.
11 minutes. They have 26 kills at 11 minutes.
With more difficult champions, more mechanically intensive champions, and trying to find that upper bound.
What are you talking about?
Trying to find that upper bound, Ovo.
Who is?
SLG.
With this comp? Just stick to play-by-play. I think what we've seen here is I can do your job, but you can't do mine. Okay, Brendan's gonna like punch me in the face after this. So if you guys come back on stream for game 2 and you see me with a black eye, you know why. I don't even think the makeup artist could hide that. Do you see Brendan? He's jacked.
No, I find ways to make it unseeable,
okay.
right?
Well, maybe let's not talk about this. Let's talk about SLG right now.
SLG trying to make a final stand here right outside that base. They ripped out with Juice mid, so they needed to make a play, try and come back in. Again, it's going to be Master goes down. He has been the main target for them, the one that's gone down the most, but ultimately SLG will hand that one over.
Yeah, I mean, it's just rough start here from SLG. I want to see them reset. I want to see them recoup. Is recoup the right word to use here?
Sure,
I want to see them recoup. I don't know. I want to see them come back stronger in set 2 that they play later on, the third match of the day.
They do have that second match. That makes a difference. Being
What are you
able
playing
to come
against?
Back. They are going to be playing against
FLA? Makes sense, right? Because FLA hasn't played today.
Right, so
I feel like we should know this.
I think it is going to be FLA. Like, I'm thinking off the top of my head. It seems like it should be FLA.
Yeah, it's going to be FLA.
And so that matchup does make a bit of a difference. I think that they're going up against two of the toughest opponents to begin with. Initial engage comes through, slicing no shot, the cut across SLG as they start running away. The remnants of SLG start running away. Going golden, dodges away from the Vanguard's edge. No reset available for Godby, but Fly sets up for Mess to rush back in. They've jumped back in onto Godby, chasing after Genza, looking for another big play, but it's Mess that picks up the double kill, and CES poised to win this game.
That's one way to put it. Back to the point we were trying to make earlier on, right? We did talk about FLA yesterday. We said they were a team that could definitely beat anyone. But it also looks like they could maybe lose to anyone. I have them pegged coming out of groups as the 2nd seed. So they'll need to beat SLG. They'll need to secure 2-0, get the 3 points to do that. But I don't know. Maybe that's the game that SLG have hope in. Because if you look at EVOS, you look at 1, I think they're too solid. But FENNEL, maybe there's a chance for an upset here. I'm grasping at straws, Grandin.
Well, Cerberus are going to finish off the Baron. Here's the thing, Omar.
Why are you still looking at the screen?
Here's the thing, Omar. What I really like this. I don't want to look at you. Here's the
You're
thing,
the only
Omar,
one that says that. Okay, what's the thing?
So if you win, so Cerberus win here, they get 9 points, right? FLA have two more matches.
Yeah.
That gets them as close as 8 points.
No, but FLA are not playing against Cerberus. Cerberus are in a league of their own. FLA are playing against 1 and EVOS.
So FLA need every single win to pick up momentum here. SLG, the difference being they set the stage and they get to kind of determine which team ends up pulling
spoiler,
ahead.
right?
They play spoiler. They are the ones that end up deciding what happens here with a lot of these guys.
Look at this. It's a perfect combo.
Gone.
It's a clean combo from Vamos. He did it perfectly.
Sure,
and he
but
took
it's a little
half
too late,
health.
isn't it? Well, slicing Nostrum dashes into SLG, finishes off the double kill. A double back for BMM, and at 14.5 minutes.
40 at 14!
30 seconds, slower than last game, doesn't matter. CES with the 2-0.
Grandin, we've got 40 at 14 here. 40 kills in 14 minutes for Cerberus. I think that's unheard of in Wild Rift. You see some smiles, you see some laughs. They make it to group stages. Let me, real quick, panelists, look over here. Grandin, look over here. I told you so. Cerberus was going to make it into groups 1st seed. They are the kings here.
Well, a good job here by Cerberus. And I think the most impactful thing is the ability to convert into full wins. We see FLA find 2 draws. Cerberus, they don't have that issue. They commit to 3 wins here all the way throughout. They don't end up dropping games.
Yeah, I mean, they've played some close games. They've looked like they've been challenged. They still win because that's the thing. They're too solid. They're too fundamentally good. Their mechanics are great. And they are clutch. That's what I love about this team. That's what I love about Vietnamese players. They are so clutch. I mean, it didn't matter today, but it really showed through yesterday in their games as well. And of course, SLG, it's a really rough start for them. We need to see if they can pick themselves up, brush themselves off, because that series against FLA, now that one has stakes.
But it's quite literally a trial by fire. They've rushed into it. They've rushed into the toughest matchups.
You know the saying?
To begin with.
Out of the frying pan into the fire? Yeah. They weren't even in the frying pan. They just straight went into the fire.
Which one is this?
That's
this,
the one.
Is
Yeah,
this,
that's the
is
one.
this one?
Yeah, I mean, it's very unfortunate here. I can't really blame them as well. I've got some fire of my own, right? It's a brand over here.
So this is
We haven't
this
seen brand
CS,
pick
this
yet.
CS.
This is CS, yeah, this is CS
This
right now.
CS, and then SLG is like over the back. It's like, this is fine. This is fine.
It's a rough start, right? But I want to talk about the FLA match. Oh, you know what? Let's not talk about that FLA match. It's our
No, it's okay.
panelist
Leave
job.
it-
We're
leave
just
it to
chilling.
them.
Yeah, we're
Leave it to
chilling.
them.
We had a great time. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah, we did have a lot of fun.
You had a lot of fun at home.
That's Wild Rift Esports for you, in a nutshell. Right, that's it. Those are
What was it? I'm supposed to say? Embrace the wild side? Is
Embrace
that
the
one?
wild side.
Embrace
follow,
the wild
follow
side.
greatness. The path to greatness.
All right, stop it. You're getting cheesy here.
Well, that's enough from us over here on the caster desk. We're going to toss it back over to the analysts and the panelists to give us the breakdown on how this series played out.
And there you have it. Congratulations to CERBERUS Esports, definitely advancing to the next stage. Seems like it dominating as well. And this is just the first series, but we've got 2 more to go for our day number 2 of the plays in WCS finals here. But hey, before the next one, let's talk just really what happened, what went down just now. It was, I mean, like 40 kills in less than 15 minutes, Ricky. Is it really the draft? They're just farming all the kills.
Yeah, it was a bloodbath, right? Like, the draft was just enabling all the 5v5s, all the skirmishes. And on paper, when I looked at it, ease of execution. CS comp, all they had to do was press R, right? You press R Renekton, you become bigger. You
That's
press R on
smart.
Olaf, you run faster. You press R on Vayne, you go time of reckoning. And you just press R on everything, Kennen as well. It's just basically much easier on paper. And on the other side, SLG, they had to zip, zap, zoom, zip, zap on Riven, Irelia, and Akali as well. It's much harder, so that's all I'm gonna say. Bloodbath and ease of execution.
I mean, there are 2 champions in there that you basically press 4 to score,
Ah,
right? I mean,
true.
you have the Sona and the Seraphine. That doesn't really need that much mechanics, but I'm still in awe. That's 40 kills in 14 minutes. I believe that could be, a record.
It's a party.
Yeah, it could be a record in Wild Rift competitive. It's a
Yeah.
very young competitive scene, and that's a lot of kills that was given over. And I think a part of that is because it's a Sona and Seraphine. They are 2 of the most squishy champions that we have, and we have identified that they are a very slow duo bot that if they skill into the late game, they could perform, right? But against CES and against how aggressive they are, they have proven multiple times, right? From day 1, day 2, they are the best team in the play-ins.
But hey, just to make sure you guys understand what we're talking about, this is what happened in game number 1 before. They kind of outdraft as well. The draft is there, but it's just the execution is not when it comes to the game 1 review.
Yeah, it was basically CES's playstyle. Like, they really wanted to fight. And on the side of SLG, they also wanted to do the same thing because they want to have this potential of outplaying. That's why, especially on game number 1, they relied heavily on Vamos. They moved on to game number 2.
Exactly.
Okay, let's make everyone have the capability of outplaying CES. But the compositions are relying heavily on transitioning to mid-game where they're grouped as 5. And before that, when the laning phase basically exploded before anything can happen. So that's, I think, the big summary of this entire series.
I mean, I love the draft change for SLG. If you're going to ask me, again, I talked about their mechanics prowess, right? They still have the talent, and what better way to do it or to show it than having these high mechanical champions in the Akali, in the Irelia, in the Riven. I believe it was a better choice for them overall on game number 2. But then again, Cerberus Esports is not the one to get surprised by this picks because they themselves, they pick it, right? So it's not something that they will, they will crumble upon, unlike possibly FLA, that if FLA, faces this SLG's version of being a wild card, they could end up losing. On game number 2, though, on game number 2, I just would like to emphasize on one thing. We talked about this. I don't like the Vayne. I want
You don't
the
like the Vayne?
Vayne. I don't like the Vayne. I wanted the Caitlyn. Simple nitpick. Yeah.
Yeah, because you mentioned this Autolus, like it outranges basically everybody else on the other side.
It just looks perfect on their draft.
That's
the Caitlyn.
true. That's true. That's true. And it also supplements the early to mid game damage. But I want to answer what our Grandin and Omo were asking. Like, why do they have to face the final boss in their debut at the WCS? You know why? Because that's how you get isekai'd. You have to get slaughtered first, and then you have that redemption story. And that's how you wake up into another world. Like, who am I? Oh, I'm the hero in this new world.
Just to get reborn.
Yeah, exactly. to get reborn.
The only problem I have with that is
The
that
isekai?
Yeah, is that normally you start level 1. Right? After you get reborn, you don't start like you know, an OP character right away.
Yeah.
You still have to have that time skip for a character progression. And
true.
I don't think they have that luxury, at least for this tournament, because today they will have another game against FENNEL Adversity, no less.
Ooh. So what level they are at right now for SLG?
Ask Riku.
Why me? Okay. I think I'm not gonna say what the max level is, but I'm gonna say they're a level 15.
Level
Without a max level.
I'm not saying the max level. Let's keep that as a mystery, okay, guys?
It's like, you know, you have a max level of 1,000.
That if it's 1,000, if it's a million, that's a different story now. But hey, leave the levels for a bit, and hopefully SLG can actually recuperate and just reassess what they need to do next, if they still have more games to go. But we're gonna take a break for a bit and see you guys in another series right after this.
Looking for a place to hide. It seems we're crossing a line. My love for you is making me blind. But I want you, oh I want you. I think we're out of control. It feels like I'm losing ground. I know we had it all. Now I'm chasing, oh I'm chasing. No, I ain't going too far. I will love you wherever you are. Even if we're miles apart, you are the light in my dark. Think we're out of control. It feels like I'm losing ground. I know we had it all. Now I'm chasing, oh, I'm chasing. We both know that our path is ended. It's time to say goodbye. Even if you're far away, we should give it another try. No, I ain't going too far. I will love you wherever you are, even if we're miles apart. You are the light in my dark.
Welcome back, Wildlings. You guys are tuning in to the second day of WCS Finals play-in stage. I'll be your host today. It's going to be Choo Choo, and join me on the stage here on the panelists. It's going to be, again, Riku and Odaluz. It's going to be a feisty one this time. Loving it.
Yeah,
so much love.
Opaluz.
Is that supposed to be Odaluz? Really?
Well, I'm just trying to play around myself because, guys, this is a time that we become serious, right? This is a make or break game. If we look at the math and the point standing that they have, right? EVOS versus 1. I know that they already have history going back to the Summer Super Cup that we entitled as the Battle for Glory, but now it's a battle for survival. Whoever would be able to get a 2-0 against other, it would mean a lot for their chances.
It's very nostalgic if you compare it for these two teams. Back then, they were high up there, but right now, barely making it in. So it's so different of situation, and they are in such ordeal right now. And we do know first place straight into the group, into the playoff, definitely be taken by Cerberus. But all they are fighting for is going to be second and third place. Do you think EVOS can actually make it, Riku?
I'm an EVOS fangirl. Early in predictions, I said it's going to be a 2-0. Versus one team this time around. Even back in the Summer Super Cup, I voted, yeah, I know EVOS is definitely going to win this grand finals. But yes, the stakes are much, much higher at this point because it's a battle of survival, just as Odaluz has mentioned. So not a lot of time of adjusting for both of these teams.
I think this matchup is really crucial for both teams since they're both having almost the similar points. But also, when it comes to one, we do know one team, they are very safe, very stable drive, but they need the scaling a bit more time here, Odaluz.
Yeah, and I believe EVOS is willing to give them that. Although one thing to note, EVOS is very good on rotations. I believe there was at one point that they were able to catch FLA off guard when it comes to, you know, rotations, right? There was at one point Arise was going up and he was met by two people, and that's the decisiveness of EVOS with G4 in the mid lane, and I do hope that they will stick with G4 in the mid lane. But for one team though, one thing that I know for sure is that Sianya will just have a field day in the jungle, and we get to relieve the rivalry between two of the best junglers that we have in Southeast Asia, and Sianya versus Valdez.
So you're talking about ace player. There's going to be jungler for both teams, and also you mentioned about G4 Riku before. Is it based on centralized on G4, or is it going to be based on the side of jungler like Valdez?
I think it's a very flexible thing that EVOS can do, right? Because I talked about prior in the panel earlier, right? That there's a duality in G4's playstyle. He can play utility to set up for Valdez, or he can play assassins that can set up for himself. That's why he played Fizz twice yesterday, and it worked once. It didn't work out so well, but I think it's because of the weakness of EVOS not being able to finish games.
Yep.
right away. And that is where one team thrives,
You know,
right? They love the 25-minute win condition for them. If the game goes slow, then that's their time to shine.
And that, I believe, is one of the win conditions for one team. Because if the game goes the distance, they have Yumao, a beast in the Dragon lane that can really carry team fights over and over again against Cat Satan. I'm liking my chances. I'm liking my one team.
You're liking it. You're liking it.
I feel like this is a very interesting matchup because why? It feels like the way you mentioned, Riku, that EVOS having a hard time to close up the game seems like a bit more advantage towards the side of one team here.
But they're really strong early mid. If they win early mid and the game, they win. I mean, it sounds simple. It's hard to execute. But that's the thing, right? What if we look into the draft? What if EVOS removes everything that slows down the game? What if you force one team in a position that they're not comfy with, which we already saw with, the Darius Garen into the locks? It didn't work out so well. It felt like they were deviating and they didn't get to adjust too well.
Again, for me, for one team, in order for them to get to the next stage, they have to remember their identity in where they will win the late game, right? So, how do you do that? You draft a marksman, or you draft a very scaling composition, like a Senna, like a Nasus, possibly. The thing about yesterday, they went on fire, or they went on stage with dedication of having a marksman on the lineup. Yumao 11-1-6 on the Lucian. On the second game, that was a Lulu and Vayne composition that was punished by a Lucian. But on their second series, I feel like they tend to be more safe this time because this is Cerberus that we are talking about. Against EVOS, though, I feel that they will still play their style.
Oh wow, there's so many insights here because it downs to all the judgment call and also shot calling come out from each team, how they want to play it down. But hey, let's just look into our matchup between both EVOS Thailand and also One Team Esports. You mentioned all it's down to the composition of the team and the draft itself. So definitely, you said they will take out all the champions that might drag out the game early on for EVOS, maybe.
Ban Ziggs! Do it! Just do a 2v2 fight. If one team drafts Lucian, then pick a Varus. Pick something that can... Exactly that. I'm so happy they're going to keep fighting this. So nice.
All right, well, Varus has been banned, which means that Cat Satan is now forced onto one champion. That's Kaisa.
Okay, but it still could go either way, right? It could still it still can go to the classic Corki Lucian matchup where, okay, we can't go the Kaisa Vayne route. Let's just go Corki Lucian instead.
We'll see. But for now, this is good respect by EVOS, at least banning Karma. I believe they're not, comfortable in picking a Karma for themselves. And looks like we have G4 in the mid lane. No fear, no Linya, at least for the moment.
Yeah, there's none. These bans, this is basically screaming, I'm gonna play Lucian, but this is for EVOS and both for one team. Let's see who gets to, what do they prioritize first? Because Camille is open.
Yeah, Camille is open, Set is open, and I'm okay with the Set being...
Set's banned at least, yeah.
Yeah, actually, Set has been banned. But Camille is open, Gragas is open, and we will see what will be the priority here for EVOS. I'm liking their Galio as well.
Oh yeah, the Galio can definitely enable
Cat Satan still has a Senna. I forgot about that.
No, don't play Senna. Don't play Senna.
Yeah, this is a Galio. So
go Corki
Lucian. This could be a Senna Galio composition. Now, what will be the response here by one team? Remember how they got dismantled by Cerberus was, okay, we're going to scale into the late game anyway. We're going to beat you with an infinite scaling composition.
I think this is the second time we're looking over Camille actually being in the game rather than being banned out. And the first one we saw before, they definitely won it. So is this going to be one team's games, possibly?
No, why pick Senna? Yeah, it could still be possible, right? Like, you can still pick a Lucian in the mid lane, put Senna at the bot, so you have that, like that scaling at least at the bottom portion of the map, and as well as utility. I like one team grabbing the Camille. I mean, that's definitely a no-brainer, but it also removes the Galio into the Camille combo. But now what would be the delivery system? This spells I have this big feeling G4's going to
Yeah,
be playing
so-
the Galio. It's a big throwback to game number 5 back then at the Summer Super Cup between these two teams. And G4 was amazing in that champion.
All right, well, Lucian will be picked up here, but EVOS, which means that Cat Satan will still have a marksman to go with. Now, the question is, what will be the pairing for Senna? Will it be a Nasus? Will it be a Singed? We saw the impact of Singed earlier today with BMM running the show, but on the Dragon lane, it's not as safe.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? If Senna picks up a Rakan, that means they can fight. If they pick up a Nasus or a Singe, that means they're throwing in the gauntlet, we'll fight you later.
But interesting thing is they're not revealing that just yet as they pick off Kazakhs. But we're talking about EVOS. The composition seems a bit stronger for now, but we haven't got a clue about how the entirety of One Team Esports, since they're taking their own sweet time to ban out Lee Sin, and it's going to be Ari next.
Yeah, well, the beauty about Camille is it can now be flexed onto the mid lane, right? If you want CU to be the playmaker, that will always be an option. Now, the question is, will it really be a Galio in the mid lane or a Gragas support, and a Gragas support, or a Galio support and a Gragas mid lane? Because to me, I believe it will be safer for them to have a Galio Lucian in the bot lane.
Yeah, there's still a lot of mystery for sure on the side of
Senna
EVOS.
Nasus.
And it's going to be Senna Nasus. That means they're throwing the gauntlet, like, we don't want to fight you, we know you're stronger early. Even though you're either or, right? Could be a Senna Gragas, still could be a Senna Galio. Either way, I'm still going to lose. We're going to stabilize the lane instead and not give you kills.
A lot of flex pick coming up from both teams, but hey, finally!
G4 back.
G4 Zed! Zed.
And I believe G4 is one of those players that really prioritizes Black Cleaver first for this champion. Now, Black Cleaver on a Zed gives you not just ability haste, but also gives you survivability, right? A few HP in order for you to survive. Some engages that could, or some damage that could be brought upon by the Kazakh spirit. But we're looking at, we're looking.
Jungle. Possibly.
Wow. Okay.
It is a Gragas.
I believe they have picked that before. Gragas in the jungle. The question is, will it be a full AP Gragas or will it be a tank Gragas?
I mean, there are a lot of tanks already available. Well, sorta. There is the Galio. There is that Darius. Now, to finish this composition,
Kaisa.
it is back again. The Senna and
Kaisa
the Kaisa. We saw it being swapped in the mid lane
Yep.
here and there.
But it was still Yuma that played it.
Exactly. So this is not my seat. so I'm really liking this because that means, okay, we see the composition. I can probably pick Kaisa. I'm confident with the entirety of this full 5 that I see from EVOS.
Yeah, and they still have a decent wave clear with the Spirit Fire from Nasus. It's not as effective as the Ziggs, but it still is an AoE wave clear mechanic. Now, on the other side, EVOS, what is going to be their engage? Is it going to be the Gragas?
I think it's going to be the Darius, honestly. That's what I picked last week as a Darius.
Apprehend, body slam, and that's what you need, that delivery system, right? So there is still that Galio for that taunt. So there's a lot of CC, layering of CC to be had. But I love the Nasus pick because you do have that innate armor shred. Yeah, exactly, from the Nasus. And there's a ton of armor to be had on the other side as well.
But honestly speaking, do you think there's any sort of outdraft? I think it's pretty much both teams are playing up to their full potential.
Exactly, they're just playing their style. Although, I would love to nitpick against the Gragas because it doesn't show the Valdez that we know.
What kind of Valdez do you actually know?
The aggressive one, the scaling one. Gragas kinds of hits a wall come late game.
I mean, like, we might be surprised if he can actually go in with a isolating explosive cast and go in straight away. But hey, it's not us to judge because our casts are ready. And this is going to be a heated rift with our 2 squads. So let's show it. Casts, take it away.
We jump into our tiebreaker match. EVOS and One Team in a deadlock with each other in day 2 of the WCS Finals play-ins. I'm Grant, with me here is Omo. Let's take a look at how this one plays out. First things first, I have to say this looks like 2 teams that are doing their own thing. They're walking in here and they say, I feel like playing this today, and I'm gonna do it.
Look, Brendan, the drafts are definitely very exciting, and I would love to talk about that. But the main thing I want to talk about is you had both of these teams getting out of play-ins, didn't you?
I did.
Only one of them is gonna make it, and this match is gonna be very instrumental in deciding that.
That is correct. There's also a chance that neither of these 2 teams make it into playoffs.
In which case, I would laugh at you. I would mock you relentlessly.
Let's not kid ourselves. You would do that regardless.
You are right. All right, but back to the game at hand here. Like you said, I love what these two teams are having because I love that it fits the identity. G4, he's been favoring these assassins. He's picking that up. Katatan and Fair Play are giving them some aggression, and Lloyd, his job. Tank the damage, be stable, survive the onslaught of Kid, and this gives me a bit of deja vu because when EVOS, when they played against FENNEL Adversity, Calm was also piloting the Camille, the only other Camille game we've had so far, and Lloyd had a hard time withstanding that on the Renekton after, you know, the 3-4 item marks from the Camille. This time around, we'll see if he can do it.
I really like this move out from one team, right? They bring Yuma back into the mid lane.
Yeah.
When he's on that Kai'Sa, they want to try and funnel him, trying to get him as far up as possible. He also has a slightly better matchup against the Zed.
That's right. I mean, it makes a lot of sense, right? Because if you think about Kai'Sa into Lucian, it's one of the age-old counter picks. You want to avoid that whenever you can. Kai'Sa into Zed, though, you have a lot. You can do this. Yeah, you can pressure him. If he tries to all-in you, what do? Grandin, what do? When Zed tries to all-in you. No, Grandin, you exhaust him. Yuma has exhaust. It counters the Zed so very hard in the early stages of the game. Then he picks up a Zhonya's. He gets very, very strong. It's good for the matchups overall. Flash falls from Veldus.
But there is still some follow-up. I think one team had been baited forward, overextending,
No, this is really bad for EVOS. This is terrible for EVOS here because you look at the map state right now. Veldus recognized I cannot contest top crab. Top river is not mine to walk into because Kit has full control. Out of desperation, he says, I must contest bot crab. But you look at EVOS's lanes, they have 3 lanes with no prio. Sienio's gonna have a field day.
So let's talk a little bit about this because what we saw from Fair Player was that he went for the they went for the Galio first to get it for Fair Player instead of the Camille. And so one team managed to pick up Camille in the first rotation.
It's a name tag thing. It's a name tag thing. You look at the name tag just here. Do you want to prioritize Camille when your top laner is Lloyd? Well, he's dead.
Well, he's definitely dead here. Kid, I don't think there's anything he needs to. He doesn't even have to participate in this fight.
It's so clutch that Veldus was here. So most junglers, what they would do, you open the respawn timer, or you open the recall basically by walking out of base straight into your jungle, right? Notice how Veldus puffed. He puffed straight to top lane, and this is something we talked about yesterday as well, covering for Lloyd. This is something which Veldus has done a very good job of. He's doing it yet again here today, knows his role on the team, knows his teammates, understands his duty, and I feel like this Gragas pick for him, even though it's not a carry, even though it's not traditional, look at what he's buying. AP, this gives him the potential to still carry the game. Gragas is one of those champions where if you get a big body slam flash off, you can still pull off a 1v9.
I mean, the guy could have just as easily been on his wolf camp, on his blue buff. He didn't have to be at top side, but he walked all the way to help Lloyd.
Yeah, I mean, it's just very good team player. It's just very good understanding of what he needs to do within the context of his team.
Oh, no, it's amazing. It's amazing that you know all this and choose not to do it.
Yeah, because I don't care about my teammates.
Actively choosing not to.
I mean, we're talking about solo queue, right?
Despite knowing the consequence.
Because in solo queue, I don't have teammates. I have a bunch of animals. In the professional game, in a scrim, and whatever, you know, of course I would do that.
Oh, sure.
You wouldn't know because you've never made it to you've never made it to that level, right? So we don't talk about that.
Okay. Let's start setting up our first objective spawn, right?
That's
first
right.
one coming up, EVOS and one team both get to have the option. The Rift Turtle coming up and the Infernal Drake. Now they get to decide what they want to try and play for. Judging from how we've seen things so far, one team were willing to give away most of the dragons in their previous series.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the game state right now, we got to hold that thought. Veldus doesn't want anything, I guess. All right.
Actually, nope. Finds the engage anyway. Sue's going to go down here, I think.
Yeah, I
Flashes
think he is.
way back on the turret, gets a shield from his teammate. Ninja 7
goodness,
acting
you
bodyguard,
do not.
soaks
You
up
do
the entire
not.
culling for his teammate.
You should not. This is one of those episodes where I should not be alive right now, starring Sue. Picture perfect, pixel perfect ultimate there from Veldus. We see some aggression from Lloyd. I mean, honestly, this matchup is pretty...
Bad player.
Action across the bot.
Flashes out from the Dragon Pit, has to worry about his life. Dan tries to run back in. Veldus does manage to secure the Dragon and takes down Sienio at the same time. Email's dashing forward, has the killer instinct, but a little bit too over-aggressive to try and pursue for more.
Early game Kai'Sa kind of lacks the damage, and if you look at how the fight played out, it was a 2 versus 4 there on the side of one team. Sienio maybe a bit too aggressive, maybe a bit too ambitious on that one, I would say, knowing that his bottom lane had just gotten chunked. So we see a couple of schools of thoughts, we see a couple of approaches to the first objective spawns, right? There's 2 ways you can do it. What we usually see in 90% of the games, everyone recalls, I shove your lane, you shove my lane. This fight, I mean, it's not much to look at. It's a 2-on-4. What does there really see, right? Good attempt from Yuma to try to clean it up. Early game Kai'Sa just lacks the damage.
So
Iketian Rain, scattered amongst 4 players. You get like 1 dot of that. It does no damage. But what Veldus opted to do there, instead of going for the recall, he opts to cheese a timing gank. That's really important because if you fail that gank, you don't have ultimates available. But he managed to just get CU and Ninja 7 both out of lane, send them home, and get control of the Dragon for EVOS.
So what I will say though is that Yumao has managed to go back to base and has now picked up the items to complete and upgrade the Captain range. So previously you said didn't do much damage, now has a little bit more.
A little bit more, yeah. The Evolve is a good power spike for Kai'Sa, right? But you're still not at a spot where you really want to be fighting. You feel a bit more comfortable shoving waves. You feel a bit more comfortable skirmishing. But this is still going to be a tall task here for EVOS.
Despite that, you say that, I see a fight happening. Fair play comes in, gets the taunt off initially. The Shield of Durand is going to set them up for this fight. Stolen away by Valdez. Daniel was unable to secure the Rift Out for his team.
Man.
They charge forward with the culling, gets the first reset off, but Lloyd's a fair distance away. Flashes forward looking for Yumao, but Yumao flashes over as well.
Yeah, nice play there from Lloyd, getting the reset, pressuring the flash out of Yumao. They want to go for more. Valdez is out for displacement. Pay attention to that.
Playing towards the top side to get the Rift Out.
Yeah, they have to give this up.
They use the Rift Out, pick up first turret for themselves.
All the ultimates still available, right? G4 has out, Valdez is out. You have to respect that. They back away, they give up the turret. That's going to be the first turret down. That's going to be EVOS with both objectives to start things off. 2 kills. It's a perfect game so far.
Absolutely, and this is surprising. If even on one team side, they weren't able to find any value anywhere else. Look at all the turrets on EVOS' end. All still standing very healthy right now. Kid has had difficulty finding space to continue pushing. Despite initial success against Lloyd, we now see Lloyd with the gold advantage.
Yeah, that's exactly because Lloyd has been joining these fights as well, right? If you're joining the fights and it works out, you get a lot out of it. If you're joining the fights and it doesn't pan out in your favor, then your opponent who's been split pushing gets a lot more gold. Luckily for Lloyd, luckily for EVOS, it's been working out for them. And that brings us back to the matter of the team composition as well. EVOS need to find leads. They have to find leads because they are going to get outscaled. They have a strong timing window in the mid game where they're extremely powerful, and they are playing to that, which is exactly what they need to do.
Using that to their full advantage, but the problem with one team right now, without any pick potential, unable to trade back for much of value, they have to rely on EVOS initiating to begin with. We also start to see G4. You talked about how he's been looking good on Assassins, been wanting to play more of these, and he's finding good space in the side lane as well.
One thing I think about one team's team compositions, I think once they get to the stage where Camille, Kha'Zix, they have 2-3 items, they can be so scary for Lloyd on the side lane. But one issue with that is I feel like Cienyo doesn't have a good time identifying when he should be side laning. A bit of a width cost there, but Valdez, he's been trying to snipe out some of those max range costs.
Sure, just trying to get a little bit of value.
Yeah.
It looks like most of the time. Dragon coming up in 30 seconds. I think Stanley's going to base, come back and try and reset and play for this fight. We saw the same thing happen on the side of EVOS. Those that had the base went for it. They also get some pressure here. Kid's off on the top side now, trying to find some value traded back there. Lloyd is going to match.
Valdez, if he had the cost there, that's flash from Ninja 7 gone.
And it would have been a great pickup. You get the center out of the way before the fight starts. Think about what one team's composition needs to do.
I think one team just can't fight this.
They want to try and walk in. They need the center shroud to get them into those positions.
Look, you look at this right now, right? Kid had priority. Kid pushed away first, so he's going to be down here first. This is the timing window for one. They need to find something right now, because once Lloyd gets here, you are done. Kid knows this. He's trying to find something, but they don't have time. They don't have time. The window is too slim.
He missed the chance to. Lloyd's already walking down. He's going to come back in time. Dragon started up by one team. They want to try to pick this one up, but watch the positioning from EVOS. They're collapsing for all sides.
Too strong right now.
Fair play is going to lead the way. They're going to start trying to walk in. But Lloyd, he's over by the back. He's looking for the pickup. Shield Durand gets a taunt over onto 2. Email repositions with its ultimate. One team forced back to their jungle, forced back to the mid lane.
They want more, though. I think it was a bit of a mistake from Fair Play. He committed too much, but it's fine. You can recall your Galio. Yes, go recall. You have heroic entrance to get back into the fight. Let your team staunch them. Buy time. And the only reason EVOS needs to buy time here is because Fair Player messed that up. He flashed too deep. His team could not follow up. They just need to stall. They just need to wait. The timing works out in your favor. You are strong right now. Unless this happens.
G4, he overextends. He walks down to the bot side. Thinks he has a free turret pickup. Instead goes down. Before that happens,
now this might actually be the Dragon going over to one team. You see EVOS' positioning. They're starting to back away. I think they're aware of this as well. Valdez is the only threat. Look at how afraid they are of him because they know one body slam cost. It could be a one-shot on one of their squishy marksmen. But this is very likely just going to be the Dragon going over to one team.
4 versus 5, one team start. Dragon, EVOS watching over from the back. G4 respawn, but it's not going to be in time. A huge ultimate from Valdez to displace the fight. But watch as you Actus frontline kid comes in, but Valdez steals it again. He's taken every objective. G4 teleports in, back into the fight. Culling on the Ninja 7, wants to finish him off. Misses a chance, but the dash in pursuit down for Katsin and finishes off the kill regardless.
And you might ask, how did they win that 5-4v5? Well, hold that thought, because they might want more.
They're still looking for a dive. Mid turret has to go over. The question is, how much more does one team give over as well?
EVOS are absolutely getting away with murder right here, and you might ask, how did they get away with that? It was a 4-on-5. They killed G4 to start things off. When it comes down to Veldis, it comes down to Lloyd stacking his passive. Look at this right now. The ultimate splits them up, and because of that, look at Lloyd. He's re-hitting on the Nasus who can't do anything. He stacks. Q, flash, just chunks them all out. There's absolutely nothing they can do, and this Lucian as well just does 1,000,000 damage. I'm pretty sure Lucian is still a 100% win rate champion. He seems to just be the strongest marksman by far in the meta right now.
And EVOS here. Oh, Rift Arrow picked up.
Yeah, they get it both. They get mid, they get Herald, they get Dragon, EVOS, they get it all.
The full objectives over the EVOS. One team not even looking close at a turret.
Yeah, I mean, you're not supposed to have your cake and eat it too, but EVOS, they get their Somtam and eat it too. They have it all. They get everything on the map. It's just full control for the Thai team right now. They're going to be trying to pressure this bot lane, I think, very soon. Because the moment you break this, you break the entire outer line of turret, it makes Camille's life so hard. That's exactly the win condition for them now. It has to be this Camille. It has to be Kid. That's how FRA won against them. But EVOS, they know this. They're trying to shut it down.
Look at how they set up for this.
Oh no,
Fair
not
play
like
walks
this.
over too aggressively, flashes over the wall. Sienio tries to pursue over. Veldis gets a knockback on the Coslinks, but he goes invisible, so they start dashing in. That's Lucian. The piercing line brings down the HP of Sienio as she falls over on the back with a living shadow. He finishes off the kill, and Yuma follows soon after. I mean, they shut down what needs to be, and one team overextends, trying to trade back.
Yeah, Brendan, I kind of recall yesterday you were saying something about Masters is such a strong region. One team, they're so good. EVOS, they're just destroying them, demolishing them right now.
I feel like you said something about like EVOS, region, something. What do you want?
I said EVOS was worse than one team. I did agree with you
did
there.
you-
But, well, if we go down, we both go down together.
All right, fair enough. I'll take that. And this is such a huge disparity here, Omo. The
is.
last game, what
It is.
we saw a 40 kill, 14-minute game.
Yeah.
We're encroaching at 12.5-minute mark, 7 kills, and EVOS have set them up so well. Each one had such impact.
I think one of the issues that you really got to pay attention to right now is how do one team win games? Sienio is a big part of that, but I would say he's been neutralized by Veldis, who's been so active on the map. I like this new approach from Veldis. I'm not going to play a carry. I'm not going to power farm. I'm going to be proactive. I'm going to give your team hell, and that's exactly what he's done this game.
Baron coming up in a couple of seconds. EVOS could set up for that one. They have the team fighting power to ensure the objective pickups. And Veldis, I mean, the guy's been looking so on form this game. Have smacked.
So on form this tournament.
And this time, wow, what, 2 days in? But I'll give it to you. And has been looking
So
very on
far.
form in the play-ins. Well, Veldis, we say that he's been caught out now. The rest of his team has to come in to save him. Fair play is going to act as a shield, sacrifice himself. The heroic entrance will
What?
get him
No
out.
way.
The heroic
No
exit,
way.
more like it.
They're just getting away with murder the entire game, Brandon.
Re-engage coming through now from EVOS with the culling, sending one team running back into the jungle. Stew over by the side in the Raptor pit, unable to play the game. You said I had to watch out for Kid. But where is he in these fights? He can't do anything.
He shouldn't be here. That's the thing. One team, they're trying to find timings, and you can't fault Kit for coming to the fights because he knows his team is bleeding out. He has to do something, just given the nature of the game. But Camille is just not effective right now. Kit needs to split push. Call back to the match yesterday where Calm was playing the Camille. How did they win the game? Calm was split pushing. He got pressure on the side lane. It got to the point where he kicked Lloyd once in the face. He lost half his health. Kit needs to recreate that, but he's having such a hard time because his team is bleeding out against EVOS. They're bleeding out against Veldis, leading the charge.
Kid's been caught
He's
out.
dead.
The taunts landed.
Why is he here?
But he
Why
gets
is he
dash
here?
out with the hook shot. So now one team want to try and contest this either way. G4 dashes in, repositions with the living shadow. Veldis secures the dragon. In the meantime, Culling unleashed onto Sienio, but his fury will not connect. Cassian and walks for email is gone. That's your hyper carry dead.
What, you say hyper carry, but this Kai'Sa...
You're supposed to hyper carry.
Maybe in like 5 minutes, right? I think that's one of the issues here with one team's team composition as well. Early game, they did a great job at stabilizing their lanes. They were pushing in all three. But the problem is once you get to the mid-game stages, Camille, Kai'Sa, Senna Nasus, answer me this, Brandon. Which of these champions can fight at the mid-game? Please. Please give me the right answer. It's a very... Just say none! Just say none! None of them can fight at the mid-game.
I'm calculating. What? Let's see. So if you
None
take
of them
the,
are supposed to fight
if
at
you
the
take
mid-game, right?
the two
So
carry
here's the
carry
thing,
the
Brandon.
Kha'Zix with the Servalda's grudge.
We're
All right.
losing viewers as you do this, Brandon. Here's the thing. You can't be too greedy with your draft. Sienio, he feels trapped, he feels pressured because he can't do anything. None of his teammates can assist him. The only play they have is for Sienio and Kid. Go to the side lane, catch somebody like they did to G4 earlier on, but it's so difficult. Lloyd is so tanky. Look at his items. 3 items, Death Dance, Bramblefest. How do you kill him?
You get the regroup mid now, jumping onto Sanyo. He's
boy.
mispositioned yet again. Feels the urge to have to
God,
assist his
Zeldas.
team. Get in, knocked back in by explosive Casimir to Culling to finish off the Kha'Zix. Jungler gone, objectives wide open for EVOS.
The map is Diaz. I mean, the map has been Diaz for the last 5-6 minutes here, and it's all because of Veldas leading the charge. I think his teammates have done a great job to follow him, but he's just the man making the plays.
I want to raise something here, Omo.
Sure.
Riku mentioned EVOS have a tough time closing out games, letting it go longer than they have to.
No, that's a
One team
mistake.
love to see that. They get the pick off onto G4,
No,
but
the Hextech ultimatum got baited out again. The Zhonya's is so effective against Camille.
I don't know why you else want me to say to that. Yes, it is, Omo. That is correct.
In general, I just want you to say that to me. Just yes, it is. Yes,
Yes,
it is.
yes,
Every
it is.
point I make.
Yeah,
Done.
yes, it is,
You were saying
Omo.
something about EVOS having issues closing out the game.
Yes, it is, Omo.
I can't reply to that. You win, all right? You win.
Yes, I was saying, Riku raised the point. EVOS have a difficult time closing out games, even when they have all the dragons, can have Elder Dragon, they could have Baron, have all turrets down, and somehow find a way to get ace, swept, and have the enemy team run down the game.
Well, let's see, right? Let's see, because this is the exact situation we're in right now. Can EVOS close it out? Is this an issue that's going to come back and bite them? I think they're fine. I think given the game state, they have too much of a lead. 10,000, 3 dragons, you don't really get much better than that. And their scaling is not to say bad either. I think one team has better scaling, but better scaling doesn't matter when you're 10,000 gold behind.
17 minutes is looking good for EVOS. This is a critical point for them. 10,000 gold up, it's a big difference, especially as we start to see 3-4 items completed. On the main primary carries, you talked about how Kid needed to be in the side lane. We still see a decent advantage for Lloyd.
Kid has
but
2.5 items,
Kid's
man.
catching up. Kid's catching up relatively well to Lloyd.
He's a 4 item behind. They try to gank Lloyd though. They're in the bot lane there.
They try and gank Lloyd, and they look like they can't finish this
No!
one off. Dodges away from the ultimate, so Lloyd goes down here. Email picks up the kill.
Oh my goodness. The Zhonya's hourglasses have been so clutch.
Been so impactful now. EVOS will finish off the G7. It's a trade back. It's a top laner for support, but looks fine either way.
I mean, we take those, right? The Zhonyas have been so clutch. So many Hextech ultimatums dodged. The Dunk dodged. The Z out dodged. It's just the MVP, I think.
Elder Drake coming up in about 25 seconds. A much more intense game than I anticipated.
Is it intense? Think about it, Grandin.
I thought there'd be more action. I thought there'd be more fighting.
Well, it's more one-sided than we expected, for sure.
Sure, it is more one-sided.
Yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised with the form that we're seeing from EVOS, and I think a large part of that is Lloyd has been stepping up big time as well. He's had a tough time on the Riven in day 1. That caused them to lose a couple of games here. But on the tanks, on the bruisers, he's still been extremely effective. He's been doing his job. And if you know me, you know how much I love people who can just do their jobs, don't bleed out, perform your role within the context of the team, and Lloyd has been the king at that.
All right, no more regular dragon spawn anymore. Now it's just going to be the Elder Ocean Drake. He's not playing for this one. Started up by EVOS. One team don't have much information this is happening. Sanyo spots out G4, gets caught by the ultimate from the Zed.
But your
has to
jungler's
dash
nowhere to
away.
be seen.
Exactly, jungler forced off. Smite gone. And this means EVOS secure the Elder Drake 18 minutes in, looking at 19 minutes.
It's just full control from EVOS. I mean, one team, it's brutal, it hurts, because it feels like they can't do anything. And I feel like that's the problem with one team, and that's the issue that I raised as well. One team are great when teams bash their head into your break wall. That's the kind of comp they've drafted as well. It's a brick wall, you can't jump into them. But EVOS, they're not doing that. EVOS are just beating them at their own game, taking the objectives, zoning them off.
I love this so much. You pick up the Elder Drake, now you have this combat buff. You walk over to the Baron, force the enemy team to walk into you. Look at Sanyo. No more flash. G4 just walks in, wants the auto attack, gets the ultimate off, waits for the jump, finishes off the Kha'Zix. Re-engage fight happens here. One team tries to defend. This is their final stand. Stu pops the ultimate, but look how quickly they go down. Email's been taken out. Kick joins into the fight. He knows he has to be here for his team, but Katsinen finishes them off with a double kill. Walks right into the mid lane, gets another. EVOS Esports will channel their way through the mid lane to close this game out.
Do you notice that little slip up at the end there? The most challenging part of this game for EVOS was deciding, do we end through bot or do we end through mid? They couldn't decide. That was the only challenge. This game was so one-sided, more one-sided than we would expect. We thought one team would at least put up a fight. But what happened here? EVOS, they beat them at their own game.
Closed out 20 minutes flat. 20 minutes and 2 seconds. Actually, it's not 20 minutes flat.
I expect some factual accuracy from you.
20 minutes and 2 seconds flat. EVOS Esports with their first win in this series in very dominating fashion.
Yeah, and EVOS, they do manage to pick up a 2-0 here. I know it's too early to say, but if they do pick up a 2-0 here, those 3 points are going to help them a long way in getting to the main stage. Because keep in mind, their main adversity, FENNEL adversity, as well as one team, have both dropped a ton of games. So picking up a 3 point anywhere is really going to help you a lot. And in this game as well, I feel like one team, it kind of shows their flaws. It kind of shows the cracks in their armor. That's what I've always said. They look disconnected against better teams. Think about how lost Senyo was. He had nowhere to go. How do I contest Dragon? How do I contest Baron? My team's not helping me. We're lost. And that's the problem with one team.
And we set this up initially as EVOS going for a composition they wanted to play for. They decided what they wanted to play. They went into it with that game plan. Same could be said for one team. One team has been showing this as a composition. It worked for them in their previous matchup as well. This time around, not so easy. It's not the same when you go up against EVOS here. EVOS has figured them out.
EVOS has figured that out, but I also think it's naturally just a counter, right? We talk about how these two teams have such a long history. I think EVOS just understands.
Legacy players.
Alright, if you want to put it that way. Sure, it is legacy player things, but EVOS have just such a good answer to one team. We don't bash our heads against your brick wall. We just take every objective, force you to come to us, and with Valdez out-tempoing Senyo the entire game, one team had no answer.
Yeah, Senyo was kind of pulled away. I mean, this was one of our talking points, right?
Yes.
Senyo needed to come into this as the initiator. We saw him in previous iterations playing stuff like Vi, where it was simpler. But his main role, I say that, but it's a different playstyle, right? It's simpler. It's his main role was to initiate. Now his goal is to trade for objectives. You can see how often he's priming himself to steal an objective potentially. Yes. You saw how he had to rotate around and try and set up for that. So many things on the back of Senyo to execute on. But that's enough from us on our side. We're gonna toss it back over to the panelists so they can break down this amazing set.
Thank you so much, Arcas. There's a lot of Senyo talk all the way back there in the rift. But hey, the one that really questioning a lot is going to be on the penalty side, which is going to be Ricky and also Otto Luz joining me. But Ricky, we saw how EVOS dominated the early phase throughout the entirety of the match. And it's just why they are so hesitant about everything.
I know, right? I want to start like from the very beginning where this is classic EVOS. They want to fight early. They want to win early. And on the other side, for one team, I know they want to play slow, but maybe playing 5 scaling champions. I consider Kha'Zix being incredibly strong late game. 5 scaling champions might be like overdone, right? Like it's too much because they can't do anything at all in the first 15 minutes of the game. They're literally going to lose every single fight that EVOS is going to start if they take them on. And the fact that Autolus actually brought this up, like the Camille games that we usually see are Hullbreaker Camille's. And this time, you can't play Hullbreaker because literally Camille is your only way to engage on the side of EVO. So yes, we couldn't see Hullbreaker, and that is why.
I really think that there's also one breaking point in that game, and that's the Infernal Dragon. It baited one team, right, into, forcing a 50-50. If it was a different dragon, it is most likely going to be one team concentrating on the Rift Herald or, just going for a handshake, just making sure that they don't need to, fight at 4 minutes because you're right, their composition, no damage at all at the early few minutes. And we did say that one team will scale into the late game so well. That's the win condition for them to draft the marksman. But EVOS checkmate them by the Gragas pick in the jungle. It was so effective. I know it's not a Valdez scary show that we are accustomed in seeing, but his impact was so impressive.
Yeah, going back to what Omo was saying, right? Valdez is definitely that team player. Like G4, he has that duality that can be that utility for the entire squad if he needs to be. And going back to what Chu said earlier, I think they still took too long to finish the game. They were 10k ahead. They already had, 3 dragons? And I was wondering why they were so hesitant in starting the Baron. Like, they could use the Baron, start the Baron, reel in one team to force a fight, finish them off because they're literally in the lead. They were waiting for that Elder Drake. And honestly, that's still a worrying trend because what if it's 1-1 again, right, Otto? What if?
Well, if it's a 1-1, what would happen is we will have a 3-way tie between FENNEL Adversity, EVOS, and one team, where things will just go from exciting to, a different level of exciting, right? A 3-way tie would mean that we could end up with a tiebreaker, right? And that's the best way to end the play-ins, right? We still don't know who's the stronger team and who's going to advance to the best of 5 that will happen tomorrow, right? Now, the thing about, I just would like to also emphasize on one thing. The Kaisa in the mid lane, it won't work against Zed. It will eventually be punished by G4. And G4 is a legacy player, as our casters did say, that really showed his prowess on this Assassins. I know he has turned it back a little and he's willing to, be a little bit conservative and going for the Black Cleaver for that Zed, but it still is a Zed. The threat of being able to control Yumao at the early game was so evident.
That's the thing, right? You're Kaisa up against an Assassin with a Gragas jungler, with a Galli on the opposite side. You're literally going to be staying in the vicinity of your tower to farm comfortably. Or else if you extend, you're just going to die.
Well, that's going to be EVO's case when it comes to hesitance and what so forth. But I do want to know, is there any slightest or slimmest chance if they keep on dragging, one might actually turn the table around?
Yes, definitely, it is possible. Because then again, even in that game alone, Rico was holding her breath. And like, why are they not finishing the game? They would end up losing. I mean, if the Elder gets stolen, if the Baron gets stolen, it would turn out to be an one team. And that's the thing between these two teams, right? EVOS play extra safe. To their credit, it worked on game number 1. But in game number 2, if they do the same thing, without the draft difference that we saw on game number 1, it could turn out to be a one-team victory after all. And we could end up with a 3-way tie. Oh, no.
It's going to be a lot of tiebreakers. And plus going to determine who's actually getting a second and third place. Already hard enough for us right now. And FLA is in the fray as well. The thing is, we do know one. Just now, it's kind of hard. When we saw the last minute, they kind of scattered all over the place. They tried to do something. It didn't work out. Maybe you think Riku from his side, they might change a bit when it comes to drafting after this.
I really think they should pick something that can easily match or stabilize the early game. Because I think 4, 5 scaling champions ain't really going to cut. Because if you decide to take them on, you're really going to lose. You have no damage, you have nothing, you have only one single engage, which is the Camille, which usually we want the Camille to split push, pick up Hullbreaker, just as Autolus has mentioned. So it is going to be an issue. So I want to see more engaged in the draft, better engaged in the draft.
Imagine this, they were winning all the lanes, right?
Yeah.
At the very early levels, right? In fact, Shanyo was even able to get 2 Scuttle Crabs. And in previous patches, it will be very impactful. Remember, in 4.1b, the experience on that Scuttle Crab got halved, I believe, from 200 to 120 or to 100.
Now, it's kind of being scaled down for a bit, but you know what? But I agree regarding about the double scuttle. And also, speaking of which, I do want to see if one actually tried to change, because we haven't seen a lot of changes coming up from one. They're really scaling a bit greedy. And this is the first time, honestly, I feel Riku really loved Hullbreaker on Camille. The only champion, just she's going to be giving a green light for the Hullbreaker.
Hullbreaker Camille for Satsum? You should be.
Otto!
You should be. You should be.
I should be. At least it's not a mid lane Hullbreaker Jace or a Corki Hullbreaker. So one thing though I want to see from one team, because they're known to be a squad that loves to double 80 carry comp. We have Akshan. They can play Akshan in the mid lane, but not Hullbreaker, please, no. No.
We've seen that before. They did actually pick up Akshan previously in other teams, and first build for Hullbreaker.
You know what? I love the Corki better than the Akshan. At least it gives you magic damage, right?
That's true. You have better range as well.
Better 4-minute fight, objective control with the package. So we'll see if one team will transition over to a more conventional mid laner marksman in the Corki.
You're hoping for that, actually.
Yeah, actually, because I'm with one team.
But hey, EVO's still banning out Ziggs again. They really want to go for the fight here, Riku.
It's pretty good against the Lucian. It has always been like one of the classic matchup for a time. If you want to match the Lucian's power, you pick up a Corki.
Now, this will be very interesting because Senna could still be left open. And we now know that Cat Satan has a Lucian that he can default back to. So EVOS said that they will be switching things around, and they expect that one team will eventually pick Gragas if they go for a different priority. So, yeah, ban the Jace, ban the Gragas. First pick for EVOS will most likely be?
Camille is open again.
Camille, yeah. I mean, do they want the Galio again? Because it's highly possible, right?
Yeah.
Like, just give that to one. We managed to work around it because, okay, they didn't pick up Hullbreaker. It's totally fine. So they're going to give that to one.
And what this does is it forces one team to respond with a Senna pick, right? Senna is not a Yumao champion. That's basically what we have seen so far in the play-ins. It has been whenever they play Senna, it will be Ninja 7, an original marksman being back on the marksman, which actually is a very interesting thing. Now the question is, will this be a Camille Senna again for one team?
There's a big possibility, right? Because you want to scale into the late game. That's one team's thing. That's their theme. That has always been their theme. Senna is a very safe pick, especially red side. You're fine. You can pair it up with a whoa. Okay. Sorry, I'm gonna backtrack a little bit.
Okay.
The EVOS banning out Gragas means they want to remove disengage. This tells us EVOS wants to go for an all-in composition, maybe even a full melee composition. One team picking up the Olaf here means that EVOS will have to think twice picking up a melee comp against this Olaf.
Exactly, and one direct counter to a Senna Galio composition is the Olaf, right? He's not going to mind those crowd controls that you will have. And looking at this composition, this is a perfect opportunity for them to still play the Kaisa for Yumao. Once Olaf comes in, once Camille comes in, you know what Yumao will do. Killer Instinct. Forward to the fight.
Yeah. Although I want an enchanter paired. Like we were talking about
Rakan.
this. Rakan! I said earlier they needed another engage. Rakan will solve that problem. Earlier, it was only solely Kid's job with the Hextech Ultimatum. Now with the Rakan, that means Kid can actually buy Hullbreaker.
Finally, she's saying a green light for Hullbreaker. That's pretty rare, actually. But I'm liking the fact that you thought about Evil side. They're thinking about, are they going for a million or not? And straight away, they're answering with Illusion there. That's definitely going to change a lot when it comes to the draft later on.
I know that Illusion has a very high win rate, but Smash Logic Gaming already lost on that champion, so it's no longer 100%. And looking at this 3 versus 3, just this 3 alone, or just this 6 alone, I'm favoring one team.
Yeah, this is a very clear all-in type of composition for one, and nothing to deter them if they engage first. So with a Galio being picked, without the Gragas, they don't have disengage. What, are you going to squeeze yourself in to pick up the Braum? We know the Braum isn't exactly the best, and I love this pick from EVOS. They're anticipating that the Kaisa lacked the Enchanter. What is left there, right?
So they banned the Lulu, so they could have expected, you know, a Lulu support with a Rakan mid lane. Does one team play that? Well, we have to expect that they play everything. This is a very good pick. Corki still has wave clear. It's very flexible. Could be put in the dragon lane or in the mid lane.
We talked about this before, right? Like if you see an enemy play a Lucian, either play a Varus or a Corki, something that can outrange, but then, as you can see, Varus ban, now Corki is in. I like this from one. This is completely different from what we saw. Corki has really decent scaling, actually, but also mid-game, a lot of mid-game damage.
Yeah, I know. And I know that I won't end up winning because I guess, you know, I predicted 2-0 for one team. That's going to be the Morgana, and where will that go? That will be the question. It could be a Morgana Galio bot lane and a mid Lucian.
Yeah, that is highly possible.
But my gripe about that is that it's against the Olaf.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I think it's pretty okay as long as you keep tabs, right? If you're gonna put it in the mid lane, because if it's gonna be a Corki in the mid lane, actually, and as well as an Olaf, there you go. We're going back for the double marksman composition. That's a one-team staple. We've seen that back in the Summer Super Cup. I love what I'm seeing. We talked about how there's so many options right now for the double 80 carry composition with the Akshan.
Yep.
And there it is. One team has revealed it.
Akshan in the middle lane and Corki in the dragon lane. I'm loving the draft of one team overall. The wave clear will be there for EVOS though. And again, Lloyd will be a steady presence. Having to execute this Olaf very early would allow him to reset. And one good thing about this composition of EVOS is that they can prioritize one champion right away, right? They have the Morgana, they have the Burst of the Lucian, and Kha'Zix. Isolation damage shreds, and then on top of that, Noxian Guillotine, reset.
Yeah, that's true, right? There's a lot of potential there's an execution potential from the Darius, and as well as the potential for G4 to run amok. You can dash forward with the Black Shield, and you have no fear with the CCs holding you down, especially with a single target CC that one team has with the Hextech Ultimatum.
I love this. G4 is saying it's my time to shine.
Uh-huh.
Game 1, the Zed. Game 2, the Lucian. But on the other hand, this will be very interesting because Action versus Lucian, I believe it's a fair fight. No one's going to kill each other. Not unless someone ganks your lane or someone overextends.
But hey, it's all down to will it be a 2-0 for EVOS or will it be a power spike quirky mid game and equal out for one team Esports with a 1-1. It's really gonna be a hard one, but let's go back with the riff. Throw it to the castles, take it away.
Thanks a bunch, Choo Choo. We jump into game 2 of EVOS Esports versus one team to finish this one off and to figure out what our planes are going to look like as we jump into this one. Omo, I know you have something to say about G4.
Yeah, I think it's lovely to see that every time you look at the EVOS camps, G4 is on the screen barking orders like a general. He's the leader here, he's the captain, he's the legacy player, he's gonna lead his team to success, and all the while he's doing all of those things, while he's filling all of those roles, he's also the star player. Seems pretty broken if you ask me.
Yeah, he's coming here now as the Lucian, trying to play back into the kind of hyper carry position that he wants to be in, and not just in the assassin playstyle, right? Because there are a couple of like big differences, key differences here. When you play for the assassin stuff like the Fizz, stuff like the Zed, we've seen him play recently quite a bunch actually.
A lot, yeah.
A lot
all
here.
he's been playing really.
But it's also really important that he can play this Lucian because what we've seen a lot from Cerberus is his ability to play stuff like Lucian, to some degree Singed. But the idea is you need to have someone that can contest these picks.
But the thing about G4 is we know him so well. We know he can play all these utility champions. We know he can play all these carry champions. I love to see how he performs on Lucian as well. I was actually going to raise a point. This is something I've seen him play on League of Legends PC. But then again, I was thinking, why would I raise the point? Because he's played everything on League of Legends PC. This guy's been around for a while now.
Fair enough. But there's such a benefit of that, having that kind of experience, having someone to helm the ship.
Like I said, calling orders to his team. Guys, do this, listen to me, we're going to win the game.
And that's the setup. EVOS Esports coming into game 2, have the upper foot, stun this one off with the lead. One team want to pull this to another draw. Both teams want to get that point.
Please not another draw, right? We need to see EVOS get a 3-0 here if they really want to make it out of groups into the main stage. One team they're trying to force another draw, trying to make us tied up yet again.
Well, we have a bit of a fight in the mid lane. G4 gets caught out. You talk about this guy so much, but he flashes away. Will barely survive through the hill of Cutscene.
That's the thing about this mid lane 3v3s, 2v2s. We often see players just making a careless mistake, not respecting a possible CC option come in. So very close to dropping that G4. That would have spelled disaster for him. But still, with that recall, he's going to lose a bit of tempo here to Siu. In this matchup, I was just saying to you, Grandin, during the draft, I don't really know how it plays out. I think Lucian has the upper hand because he wins the shot trades. He has the ability to just use the piercing light to trade better than the Akshan Boomerang. But still, I think it's pretty even. Losing tempo like that, it's going to hurt.
Yeah, even as you look towards the bottom side, Cutscene losing some health with the trade back from one team. Cutscene steps forward before he has the Black Shield. Makes a bit of a difference. If one team had the summoner spells there, probably could have won that fight.
Yeah,
if he had the Ignite. Had the Ignite, had the Exhaust, held Morgana in place for longer. But that being said, though, even with those spells gone, doesn't seem like EVOS has much kill threat here.
Yeah, it doesn't really. I mean, EVOS, their main goal in this bottom lane is just to farm it up, just to push it out. G4 and Valdos, these are the key players to look out for. And on the other hand, it's going to be Kit, it's going to be Cienyo, it's going to be Siu. These guys need to do the work that they were unable to last game. What's good for one team this game, though, if you remember, one of the things I always criticize them for, Ninja7, his role swap over to support, his lack of decisiveness, his inability to pull the trigger at the right time has hurt his team in team fights. Early game, though, looking good so far.
I mean, you say that, so you say that. Let's talk
They
a
can
little
dive
bit
this,
about
by the
how
way.
they want to try and
Nice
fix that
play.
issue by setting things up. Walks right out of the taunt. A beautiful play out from Cienyo to establish control in the bottom side. Cutscene a dot away from death. Will find the kill eventually, and Cienyo just walks out of that. Times the turret shots perfectly.
So good there from Cienyo. Q, flash, E. He does exactly what he needs to. Chunks Cat Satan, who still has his flash. He's had his flash through all these events, but he cannot use it because he's forced into such a tight corner. Cienyo now, he answers back to Valdez. This play is just so good. I mean, there's not really much to look at. They juggle the aggro perfectly. Yumao takes a shot. Valkyrie's out. Cienyo says, it's my turn. I'm going to get out. Great play here from one team. This is exactly the lead they need. We said it's a face-off of the junglers. Who gets the tempo? This time, Cienyo strikes first.
Honestly, perfect. What we just saw there, Cienyo dodging away from the taunt to initiate that fight. If he had got caught there, tagged one additional turret shot, none of that would have worked. None of that would have worked. He would have been dead. He would have gone down before he could pick up the second kill. Katsian would have had a chance to make an outplay. Instead, they waited just the right amount of time, just long enough that the bind wouldn't be up again, the taunt wouldn't be up. No Justice Punch. Perfectly timed out from one team. Now, set things up.
He's kind of cracked.
That wasn't the tune you were seeing last game.
Because last game, Veldus was dumpstering him, and it seems right now, whichever one of these junglers gets more initiative seems to have a better start. I think that's just the trend of how these two teams want to play.
I mean, it makes so much sense, right? There is
Yeah,
so
it's the
much
junglers leading the charge.
There's so much tempo that's had here. I want to raise something here as well because of the initiation, because of the fight that happened down in the bottom side. Top side, couple of wards have spotted out where Sienyo is. As we see the first objective spawn, first spawn happening in 30 seconds, will that make a difference?
Well, I think it's going to be EVOS' favorite still. The only issue with that is how strong Sienyo is right now. We criticized last game. One team, they have too much scaling. This time around, they do have scaling, Koki, Camille. But Olaf is ready to fight. Akshan wants to fight. They are good to go. Look at the gold lead for Sienyo. He has the Black Cleaver. He's ready to go. He's ready to start this one off. And it shows. Look at one team. They're in the river first. They're controlling the action. They're controlling the pace of the game. Package, I believe, going to get picked up here. And this is likely going to be one team dictating the next fight.
Infernal Drake spawns up, so one team
has to
is
be a
going to
trade.
start making their way down to the bottom side. We see the Rift Tower started up by EVOS instead here, though.
Yeah, it's going to be a trade because EVOS recognize we cannot take the fight right now. One team, they did the same thing last game. Both of these teams doing a very good job at recognizing when they can't fight.
I think EVOS here going to look to try and pick up some tempo with the Rift Tower. Want to try and push the top side. They just used the Rift Tower up on the top end, looking to try and get some tempo in the Baron lane. Especially since we've seen Lloyd come in here as that kind of stable pillar, more so than when he was playing the Riven. Now again in this Camille matchup.
And this is a double-edged thing as well, right? Let's break this down into 2 points. The first main reason I always say Herald should be used mid is because if you're playing against a mage, that opens up so much space for you on the map. But you're not playing against any mages here. Akshan's not going to clear the waves in one hit. Koki's not going to clear the waves in one hit. That mid lane turret, it's much easier to take within the context of the game. Instead, this time around, you go drop it top lane, you push the Camille out of lane, you give her less space to play on the map. That gives you a lot more. It gives Lloyd more space to play. It removes space from, I forgot his name, Kids Camille. And it's going to be a great play here. It gives the goal over to Veldus on that Kha'Zix as well. I think it's looking up for EVOS. I think it's looking better. They just really need to avoid the Olaf, avoid Sienyo right now while he's so strong on the map.
I have to say as well, I feel like looking at how things are playing out, one of the key factors is going to be this dual AD carry composition, right?
Sure.
We've talked a lot about how mages have been strong prior to the competition before WCS play-ins. We saw mages dominate the bot side meta. Dragon Lane was infested with them. I'm going to go as far as say infested with them. Okay. Morgana in play, Ziggs in play, even to some extent Lux in play. We saw Sona Seraphine played as well.
I would rather forget about Sona Seraphine.
And all of these champions took over control of the bottom side of the map.
And for good reason, right?
And for good reason. They offer so much utility. We see that still here with EVOS, with the Morgana, but one team have opted to go back to the double AD carry composition and style that was popularized even before that.
I think this is one of those situations where they're doing two things. They're playing to comfort. Yuma loves their Koki. We see that in Masters all the time. The second thing is they kind of had no choice too, because with the Lucian being flexed into mid lane, we talked about this a ton yesterday. You want to avoid that matchup. Lucian puts Koki in a dumpster. To be fair, most champions do. But Lucian especially puts Koki in a dumpster. So you're forced to flex that down to bot lane, and that begs the question, then what do we pick up mid lane here? They can kind of contest Lucian. Their answers, Akshan, I think that's fine.
We're looking to see if there is something to be done here. I think the Akshan into Lucian matchup, like you mentioned, is a little bit, we're unsure, right? Because it hasn't been played that much. Lucian has come into this competition as a surprising factor. The amount of damage that he's been able to output,
we've talked about
the amount of
Lucian
impact he's
leading
able to do.
charge, right?
Sure. But it's been an unexpected change, especially since we had known that the AD carries were going to be stronger, just not so much in the mid lane.
And it's also just how strong are they? Bot lane fight though.
Yeah, bot lane immediately comes back into a fight. EVO's trying to defend. Instead, one team still get the turret in the meantime.
You see, here's the thing, right? You trade turrets. You might get first turret, you get a little bit more gold, but one team, they trade right back. And they also get the dragon, so I think it's looking up for them right now. It's still an even game state, and now it comes back to the question of who scales better, who's going to be happier as the game drags on, because it looks like we're going to be in this one for a while, right? And I think if you look at the map state, you look at the game state, it's likely going to be one team outscaling.
Okay, fair play. Blocks the knock up.
Yeah, I mean, I think Yumao's package was going to time out there. They just tried to make a play. It's just one of those things where, you know, let's give it a shot. If it doesn't work
value,
out,
maybe.
fine. Yeah.
If it doesn't work out, so be
We
it.
proc is aftershock.
So what, like a 15-second cooldown?
Yeah, it's pretty long. Go on, Grandin.
Well, what else do you want me to say?
Anything else?
Okay, sure. First star picked up by EVOS. Gives him a little bit of a gold infusion, but we still see one team hold on to a pretty good goal.
I see something.
Closing the goal gap by pushing down the bot side as well.
I spy, with my little eye, Hellbreaker and Akshan.
And it makes sense. Look at where he was on the map.
I like it.
He was
I
down
mean,
the bot side before. Now he's back up to the Baron
So there's a
side.
couple of things we need to talk about here, right? Kid has been opting away from that. He wants to come team fight. He wants to look for engage opportunities. Because if you look at one team's team composition, last game and this game really, Camille is one of the big factors allowing them to get catch. This time around, at least they have a Rakan to back that up. So it makes sense that he doesn't want to buy the Hellbreaker since he's going to be grouping a lot. Akshan, I think, is one of the best champions to buy Hellbreaker because of how you play on the map, how well you get control, how well you duel, and your ability to do this. Just be a sneaky boy in the side lanes.
Yeah, but I'm not sure how valuable that's going to be.
It's going to be valuable.
If EVOS, well, I guess EVOS don't intend to do anything with this.
It's going to be valuable. I think Akshan's one of the best champions.
Wait, what
at
happened? They
buying
can't.
Hellbreaker.
Okay, they didn't cancel the recall. It looked like he canceled the recall for a second there.
Nah, they're just gonna be chill because it's so hard to kill Akshan. They know he has double sums. He just needs to flash, zipline away. He's 2 screens away, and just like that, you'll lose your entire topside jungle. It's not worth it for EVOS to try to force the play. I think just wait until the next objective fight. But then the problem is, then Koki gets packaged again. The thing about one team's team comp is it has a lot of scaling, but it has power now as well. And that's what I criticized them yesterday for. That's what I criticized them in game 1 for. You can't sacrifice early mid-game power for scaling. You can't opt entirely into scaling because you need to contest these objectives. This game, they've drafted to do that.
I mean, we talked so much about the Olaf in a lot of compositions, the fact that he comes in, well, exactly this, that's the power of the Olaf. They start to run in, but instead Ninja 7 pulls the trigger too early. They weren't able to commit to that flash over the wall. Senyo has just run off. Bye-bye.
You can't really blame him. He would have died if he stayed.
Absolutely not. There were 3 people waiting behind that corner. You
Very
thought,
scary
you thought you had a
situation.
fair 3 versus 1 fight? You're just kidding. It's a 5 versus 3.
Yeah, it's just one of those memes, right? Lloyd said call an ambulance, but not for me. For you, Ninja 7. And just like that, the aggressive attempts get stifled from one team. The mid lane turret under pressure. Kha'Zix with the W evolves. It's going to be so...
fair play.
I mean, you could have just blocked that. No
You
one
could have
blocked
blocked
that.
any of those shots for your support. For the Galio.
No, but I think EVOS did the right thing here. You shouldn't block for your support. Let your support die. I need HP to farm my creeps.
Fair enough. You know, the creeps are very deadly.
They are.
You know, very honestly, they're intimidating, terrifying, in fact. Any misstep could see your entire health bar stripped down to nothingness.
It's less funny when you say it because I've seen you die to jungle camps.
Okay.
It's no longer a meme.
That's fake news.
Okay, it is fake news, but it's for comedic purposes, right? Objective spawn's gonna be coming in. We do have to package for Koki here.
Second wave of the objectives as they try and set up for this. EVOS got the ripped out last time around, but one team now want to try and set this one up for themselves. Maybe even just take a fight. Previously, we saw Senyo burn his flash trying to disengage, but now they have a chance to go for it again.
It seems like this time around, one team, they're gonna be prioritizing the Rift Herald. I think they really want the mid turret. EVOS, they're gonna come in through the river, through the jungle entrance, and see if they can find anything. Package, it should not be used like that.
Yumao's a little bit in a bit of a spot of danger. Dashes over with the package, delivers himself over to the wall, and ends up getting caught out, and that's the first reset coming through. The rest of one team is trading over the back end. Fair play, caught out by Siu here, uses the heroic entrance, dashes back over to Veldus, tries to survive through this. Lloyd still has a little bit of HP, but one team has managed to collapse in time, and Kid jumps back in for the double kill.
It's all about Kid. He saved the day. How did he do that? He bought so much time. He didn't let Lloyd get a reset. Look at what he did. Hextag ultimatum, bought a second. Jonius, bought 2. Flash away, bought another 2. Just like that, the reset's gone, the passive's gone. Lloyd is useless, he can't do anything. And EVOS, they get stuck. G4 gets caught, gets time, gets caught. And one team, they lose the Herald, I believe, but they get the Dragon.
No.
They get the
both.
kills. They get both!
They get both, just as it is, just as all things should be.
Look at the stats on your screen right now. Both of these junglers, the key players for their teams, the head-to-head. Both of them, look at their gold, their KP, their damage done. It really tells a story here, right? I mean, it's a little bit rushed. I don't know how much of that you caught, but it's really just both of these guys want to lead the charge. And Senyo, he's been doing a good job of that this game. It seems like in this specific matchup especially, Kha'Zix might be a bit of a bait pick. We talk about how good it is against the Olaf even, but it's too slow. Initiative for both junglers is the name of the game here.
They need initiative, they need some way to find themselves making an impact early on. Senyo has found that with the Olaf. You can see now already having some impact throughout the game. We think about what Olaf does in a lot of team compositions. It offers them that early to mid-game power, which is exactly what one team wants, especially since they already have so much late game scaling. They have the Camille, they have the Akshan.
Kid is the most self-sacrificial Camille player I've seen. Like, he just ignores the fact that he has top wave, comes right down, plays for the Herald timing, and they're gonna get mid lane because of it, I think.
He says it's okay, as long
There's
as I get the
another
kills
fight going on.
As long as I get the kills for it, as long as I get that value. Well, EVOS lose G4. That's the first player out of this fight. Su gets traded back, both mid laners gone, but that's a lot of sustained damage out from EVOS. One team do end up resetting though, allowing the Rift Herald to continue in the mid lane.
I wonder what happened there. Kid as well as Ninja 7, they were wandering through the bot side jungle together trying to find a pick. I think they found G4. G4, look at his items. Ninja Tabis, he needs the Zhonya's. We talk about how impactful Zhonya's is against assassin champions like Diana, like Zed, but it's also so very good against Camille. Why? Because you just deny Hextech Ultimatum. You make it no longer a spell.
You know, that's the same situation that Lloyd faces right now, which is why one team have 3 hourglasses.
But the good thing about the dunk is, right, you can hold the dunk. You can't hold ultimatum because you need ultimatum to start catches off, to get the picks. The dunk, he can wait, he can hold. He just needs to be aware. He needs to have the presence of mind. All right, these 3 guys have Zhonya's. I need to keep that in mind before I dunk him. Kid does not have that luxury. If he wants to catch someone, he needs to hook shot in, he needs to ultimatum. Failing that, the options are limited.
I really like what Su's doing here. So still Su is in the side lane.
That's a new tongue twister.
That is a tongue twister.
That's what I'm doing tomorrow as well.
Su is still off in the side lane. He's setting up for himself. They're trying to find some value here on the other side turrets, especially since there are no other objectives to be had. This is such a nice one I like because they use the Howlbreaker to get the initial push going, and then they have the rest of the team to confirm and secure the objective.
Bit of a stretch there, huh? He could have gotten it on his own. Howlbreaker's broken.
Sure, fair enough.
If you get free time with a turret,
it's Akshan with Howlbreaker. He's definitely going to get it.
Oh yeah,
but he wants to have people with him in case a fight breaks out.
Lloyd though, is he going to get caught?
The Ignite! He cancels the recall. Lloyd, stand and fight. Stay right here with us.
Love that.
Was a little bit dicey towards the end. Could have got a little bit closer.
He has Zhonya's.
That is true.
Yeah.
He does have Zhonya's.
That's just what we talked about, Grandin. We said presence of mind to recognize where the Zhonya's are. Clearly, you do not have that.
That's why I'm not a pro player. We've established this.
We have. I mean, but I do like to rub it in.
Pace of the game slowing down just a tad.
But one team doing good.
But one team doing good with that. They enjoy the slowdown in pace. They've had to accelerate the tempo to take down EVOS in the first half of the game. Now as we approach this mid game, as the Baron starts to spawn up,
they've got the scaling as well, right? They've got the scaling as well. The only thing that I don't really like here, look at the catch attempt though. We're gonna look at this first. EVOS, they know their backs against the wall. They want to try to find a pick.
So careful with his positioning.
I mean, it's so obvious, right? Look at how G4 is playing. He's playing so brave. You know he has his teammates behind him.
The question is how many, and I think that's just been answered in full.
Actually, they only see 1. Scry only catches 1, so not the best use of that there. I think 2. I'm not exactly sure.
I mean, 2 is enough. Surely you'd see that and be like, yeah, no, I'm not going to go in here.
All right, but look at this. They're going to try to force the Baron trade, and they can race it because they have Kha'Zix and Lucian.
Okay, EVO's rushing over. They're trying to pick up the Baron. It's down to 7,000, but watch what happens here as one team jumps in with the package. Guess what? I think you forgot about that. Instead, Senyo delivers himself in. Umao is going to be off by the back. He's trying to trade here, but Veldus has managed to lock targets onto Umao to finish off the Corki, and Senyo has no targets to go for.
Umao needs to calm down. See, Veldus pays with his life, but he gets the kill on Umao, and just like that, the dragon attempt is stopped. Umao needs to calm down. There was a one fight there for one team. He just needs to be patient, and that's a recurring trend. He gets over-aggressive when he has the package. He needs to remember, Rumble is not in Wild Rift yet. You're not playing Rumble. You're playing Corki. Your goal is not to dive in like that. Take it easy. Use the package patiently. He pays with his life because of that, and this is just going to be EVOS maybe getting in position to contest this. No jungler, though. They need to kill Senyo.
Yeah, EVOS get to run back in first. Senyo still has that Ragnarok. Gets the slow onto Lloyd first. You see what happens here. The primary engaged. The front line gone from EVOS means the rest of one team gets stuck collapsing in on the backline. Damage versus EVOS.
Nice.
G-Force been caught out. Has to use the Hourglass. Survives for now, though. Senyo pops the Ragnarok. Runs in with the other toe. The Reckless Swing to continue damaging EVOS. Beautiful ultimate out from Katsinen. G4 over by the back, still alive at this point, but a nice pick off here by Su to pick up the double kill, get the reset, revive his teammates, and a triple kill back out for Su.
face planting there from Veldus. It looks brutal right now. It looked good for a second there. Ketsutan used the what's it called again? I keep forgetting Morgana spell out. Soul Shackles, that's the one. Soul Shackling them down while the culling shreds them up, but it's not enough. Sienio, he's too strong right now. This Olaf is too strong right now. TP said they're gonna get the Baron. They're gonna get the Dragon after this as well. One team. Looks like they're gonna force us to another tie here, Grandin. I mean, this fight just starts off with G4 getting caught, isn't it? It's gonna be Sienio running it down. Look at him. He doesn't care. 1 on 3. It's half the calling. It's all of Morgana's damage. Eats Lloyd's damage. He's so tanky. He has the Death's Dance. No one can stop him.
He just gets the reset as well, and then they go
Veldus,
back, pick
we
up
don't
the
wanna see
teleports.
this. Yeah, it's brutal.
Go back, pick up the teleports, get the drag, get the Baron.
Yep.
That's one team Baron.
Just like that. Just like that. No 3 points for you, EVOS. One team. They're just shutting it down.
I love this. Such a tight race.
Yeah. Why are we seeing G4 and Zeus head to head when it's both 3 KDA? I feel like that's kind of it's a bit of a fuse bad for them.
No,
3 is not a good KDA.
There is a good KDA.
3 is good KDA for you, Grandin.
There is a good KDA for me.
All right. All right.
A 3 KDA?
Yeah.
We have to remember because it's by a multitude, and not
What does
by.
that mean?
And it's not like a clear ratio, right?
Take this ratio plus L, Grandin. Back to the game at hand. One team, they've got the Baron buff. They're gonna try to play on 3 lanes right now. And guess what? They have the luxury to, because something we haven't really mentioned is if you look at EVOS' team comp, once they fall behind, how are they gonna pick a fight? How are they going to start an engage? I thought Lucian, Kha'Zix, you shouldn't be falling behind. But guess what? They have, and now it looks dire because one team outscale and they have a gold lead. And the Baron buff.
I mean, it's pretty much clear. EVOS don't really have anything to do in this fight.
It's pretty much game. I think it might be a 1-1.
The only exception is that Yumo literally delivers himself into the enemy team.
Even then, one team still win. He has been.
He has been. We truly need a miracle moment here for EVOS.
Yeah.
But one team, they are known to be able to close out games in these positions.
They're stable, right?
They love playing these positions. Where they have the Baron, where they get the siege up. Look at what happens here.
Oh boy. A bit of the deja vu coming into Lloyd as well, right?
Very
Just
nice
playing
solo kill.
against his Camille. It's so difficult. He has barrier, he has flash, but it doesn't matter. I think he just got kicked in the face for half his health.
He has issues in this matchup. Gonna have to walk back down to the bottom side now. One team is going to continue sieging up. Senyo trying to make a desperate play, pick up Ninja 7 where they can. That's not one yet. Uma's still alive, but a beautiful Tom pulls them back in. The Corki does get out with the Valkyrie at the end of that. But it sends the rest of the team running, and one team will have to leave.
But your base, EVOS!
But EVOS have lost so much in their base in the meantime, and jumping back in, fair player wants to get this taunt, picks up the double, but instead the culling comes through.
So nice from
That's not even
Siu.
culling, that's the ultimate from Siu.
What is it called, Grandin? Pop quiz. Back to the game at hand. Very nice play from Siu.
They've revived Senyo. They're gonna rush back in. The teleport coming in to pick up the win here. Culling clears out the minion wave, but it's another one coming back in through mid, and one team will drop this series 1-1.
Nothing they could do at the end there. EVOS, they had a hard time against the tempo set by Sienio. We said the name of the game was the jungler. We said it comes